Okay, that's Life is playing. It's time for the show.
It's one of those days where we need this in the background the whole show, right?
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Hello. Welcome to Coffee with Curmudgeons.
Yes.
Let's see if the things work that I've set up today.
That's right.
Let's start with go to one.
Okay.
Here on NuzBox. If you're watching the video.
Ooh.
We are
I like it.
Coffee with Curmudgeons.
Look at that.
At 503-329-4240. I am here with my co-host
395.
Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Hi, I'm Kim. Nice to meet you.
Tell me about the years you spent with Gavin Newsom.
Well, they were heartfelt years, yet they were strained.
Hey,
yeah.
You're not Kimberly Good.
Oh, okay.
You're Jason Allen. Do you know why I know?
Yeah.
Look.
Oh, look at that. Just in case I forget, I'm like, oh!
It says it right there. And I switched the order, so now it's actually, your name is actually touching you.
Holy cow.
We should have a mark for the lady here. Lady Liberty.
Little arrow over there. Like, boop.
Here's actually, this is very visual for our podcast listeners, which, by the way, I should bring up I should remind people about the iTunes. There's iTunes stuff that you can do. Yeah. I think it would be much better in your ear hole than your eye hole. But anyway, your eye sockets.
No matter what orifice, we're multi-orifice.
But I just wanted to do a little special effect. We've got Lady Liberty, which kind of sits here on the end.
Right. So if they're watching us, they're saying, "Man, who's that fat bald guy?"
Here's a special effect of Lady Liberty.
Right. I need a little bit more America in my morning. It's like, oh, look at that.
I know. Here's Lady Liberty in 2017.
Yeah.
Bye.
Right. Right. And look at her. She looks fabulous. She's all like svelte and everything. And then I'm like, she's like, I'm like the before and she's the after. Right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Jason.
What?
Did you ever see the remake of Godzilla, the recent one, with Bryan Cranston, guy from that TV show?
No, I think the last one I saw...
It was like a couple years ago. 3D. No. It was done by Gareth Edwards, I believe, was the director.
Okay.
Who, I believe, was the director who just turned in the latest Star Wars movie, Rogue One.
Ah, okay.
That's where they got him from.
Gotcha.
Right?
No, the latest...
I think that's how that
Godzilla one I've ever seen was the Matthew Broderick one.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, so...
Yeah, I don't think I've got through that, and I've heard bad things.
It's painful.
But, like remaking American Godzilla movies as opposed to really Japanese... Because the Japanese are still making Godzilla movies.
Dude, they are way better at the monster movies than we are, right? Because, when I watched the Matthew Broderick one, they didn't even do the tagline, which, if you're going to do any Godzilla movie, right, you got to have it in there. If it's not in there, it's not an official Godzilla movie. At one point where, Godzilla's rumbling through Tokyo, right? And he's smashing everything up. He's doing what he does. He's having, anger issues. And so he's like, arr. And you get that one woman and the other person right next to him. And they always, every single movie, watch it, you'll see it. They point up and they say, Godzilla. And then the other one goes, what does he want? Mm-hmm. Right? And every single one there is that. Well, Matthew Broderick, they didn't deliver on that. And that's why I turned it off right there. I said,
There's always some good tropes in that.
Yeah.
It says it's like Godzilla.
Right.
But anyway,
what does he want?
Do you know what the origin of Godzilla is? It is actually
an acid trip.
No, it's actually a Japanese, because the Japanese do make up modern, so they have their ancient words in Japanese, and there's a thing about the writing. Please don't ask me about this, but I remember I remember studying some Japanese culture just like for a class for work things, and it was interesting. It was like, I could do more of this, but I was too busy. But it was like, they talked about the writing, the kanji, and the different types of writing,
right?
And but they'll like any good modern culture, you need to come up with some new words.
Sure.
And sometimes you smash old words with new words. But apparently Godzilla is really gorilla. It's really the word gorilla, but it is.
Boy, they got that messed up.
Well, think about Godzilla.
Right.
It's that's what they tell me on the internet.
But
anyway, so I was like, what was my train of thought here? I think it was 2014.
Yeah.
The Godzilla 2014. Yes. It was Bryan Cranston, right?
Got your Breaking Bad. Malcolm in the middle. He's
the big star, and he was very good, very dramatic.
Yeah.
Lots of drama and terror and stuff. Imagine that. It wasn't bad. It was in 3D. Of course, they did the big CGI 3G effects, and then they're in Japan, and then they're in the Pacific Ocean, kind of Pacific Rim-ish, and then they're in like Hawaii, Honolulu, and then they're in the LA. And
Godzilla smashed up Honolulu
and Las Vegas.
He went on tour.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Godzilla.
At one point, he's kind of like swimming across the ocean.
Yeah.
And there's an admiral and aircraft carriers, and it's actually a pretty good scene. Like if you dig the big CGI scenes.
Yeah.
And I hate to admit it, but I haven't seen this Pacific Rim movie, which I hear is really good at this sort of thing.
I have not seen it either.
It's kind of, again, in this whole genre. I think that's Michael Bay, but so that's on my bucket. Something I gotta watch. But the big CGI effects, so like aircraft carriers and battleships and stuff, and pan out, and then you see this dark image of Godzilla swimming across the ocean, and the admirals, we're gonna track him. What are we gonna do? We don't know. We can't do it. Well, anyway, it's a Godzilla movie. But the big controversy that came out of that movie was... and again, I thought it was pretty good. I mean, Bryan Cranston is like big, heavy, crying, scary. There's backstory, personal thing, loss. It's
he's gonna turn in a solid performance, right? Because it's Cranston. That's what he does, right?
And one of the maybe it's one of the Chris brothers or something. Chris, I don't know, played like the son or whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, so one of the big controversies that came out of that was the size of Godzilla. Because number one, Godzilla was huge in it, like scale-wise. And I know they had that problem with the Matthew Broderick one, too. It's like, we're trying to get the scale here. Like, it was kind of out of scale. People had a problem. But it was huge. But also, Godzilla, they took the classic design and then updated it.
Yeah.
I didn't have a big problem with it, but...
Making him a little more dinosaurish or whatever?
No, they still kept his look.
Did they do the funky sound?
Yes.
Okay, you gotta have that.
Yeah, you better have that.
Yeah.
And so what happened was that he's chunky.
What?
He's chunky.
He's let himself go to seed?
Well, that's what the Japanese press and reviewers were saying.
That is bad because, I mean, if he's gone through Honolulu and he ends up in Las Vegas, I mean, it's not like he got his work out.
Yeah, there was a lot of blowback there in Japan about the chunkiness of this Godzilla.
Wow.
They were basically like, Godzilla is fat. You can't do that. You can't do that.
They're fat shaming Godzilla. I mean, what are they doing?
But Godzilla always had a bit of a booty.
Well, yeah, he got drunk in a trunk. Yeah. I mean, but he's a lizard. He got the tail too, right? I mean, that's gonna add a few extra tons.
Is he a lizard or is he? I
don't know.
Dog.
He's like a.
Or is he a dog? Because he's got front-facing eyes and that snout. Which, by the way, if you read about the origins and the design of Godzilla,
yeah,
the whole face and stuff was designed after the dude's dog, like the guy in Japan the artist who created the original Godzilla. It was like, yeah, that's my dog's face.
Guy went on a bad acid trip, and now he's got a lizard with a Nikita, sort of movements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the face of Godzilla, in the Broderick one, I think it was real lizardy, kind of, it's totally different, which, again, got, that, I know that fans and stuff didn't like that.
Right, yeah.
It's like if you update Darth Vader and you give him a Make America Great Again cap instead of the helmet. You're just like, hey, I don't dig this update,
man. Make America Great Again.
Which reminds me of a prop I have that has not made it down to the studio yet, but we'll get there. Not today, but I'm working on this. We're working on this. Anyway,
working on this.
I know it seems minor, but it actually does take a little effort.
This is the tech stuff that no one thinks about, right? They're like, oh, look at the lower third, that's cool. Well, and they're not worried about all the millions of man hours that went into that.
And readable. Stop going off about it, Doc.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of, he was big, big and kind of chunky. I thought it was cool, and it was it was one of those in 3D.
So it's kind of like Trump and his little Mideast whatever Italian thing he went on, Australia with the little MAGA hat on.
But think about it though. He had kind of the same face, but looked kind of like more meaner, more like a Doberman as opposed to I don't know what you call it, hound dog. But if you think about it though, but if you think of Godzilla's face, right?
Yeah.
Forward facing eyes.
Yes.
A snout. That's not a lizard, Jason. That's a dog.
Yeah, it's like a dog with alligator skin. It's like a chimera. Someone in some weird laboratory said, I'm going to create the perfect dog. Then his elbow trips up and the lizard stuff falls. Like, oh crap, what are we gonna? Let's just roll with it. Well, Dr. Jenkins, we're gonna roll. And then the next thing you know, there's Godzilla.
Well, and when you get into all the Godzilla movies, then you gotta. I mean, he's kind of a monster. Well, he's the Clint Eastwood of monsters. He's the monster anti-hero. In the end, he's kind of pretty much like the hero. But although I don't know how you can deem a nuclear lizard dog thing with a weird call that comes in and smashes up your entire town, that's my pagoda.
Right.
That's your phrase for the day that pays.
That's my
pagoda.
What does he want?
Which I think the new one actually did have a... there was I think there was a pagoda smashing scene. Because Godzilla movie, right? You need a pagoda smashing scene.
You got to. He's rolling through town.
A bus that careens off full of people,
Yeah. The telephone line and telephone poles go down, because he's walking through that. So
I love that. That's one of my favorite model effects.
Phony sparks are flying and everything, and stuff is flying down.
When he gets to the point where he gets to the power station, with where all the lines, the generators and stuff, the substation, and the sparks are flying, and then all the power lines are. Oh,
yes.
I love that. You just, that's one of my favorite scenes.
All right, what's your favorite Godzilla movie?
That's tough because you used to, probably just you and I probably the same.
Yeah.
If you're a certain age, back when there was television and no internet,
right,
you watched Monster Cinema.
Yeah, it was like the weekend. I remember waking up. Mine was on Saturday.
Yeah, I think so.
They had the Monster movies on there.
Cinema, or Friday night or whatever.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'd have a thing like, they play movies in the afternoon, but sometimes you catch something after school. That would be a win, right?
Right.
That'd be a win of your day, right? You come home from school, it's like, my God, a Godzilla movie's on.
Right. You wanted like a after school special, and there's Godzilla. It's like, hey, it's a win-win.
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I'll tell you mine.
Johnny is not exploring his feelings of sexual desire. Instead, we've got Godzilla and Rodan duking it out.
His latent pubescent desires.
Yeah. Which, in a way, for a male prepubescent boy, those monster movies are rather... it's pretty much what you feel as a prepubescent
raging boy. Hormones. You just want to run through Tokyo and knock down telephone poles.
Raging being the key.
Right. Mrs. Jenkins in science class gave me a B-, and I'm mad, right? So I'm raging through Tokyo right now, not my pagoda. Yeah.
Although somehow I like Mrs. Jenkins
in
an uncomfortable way,
When she's in health class, especially when they're doing the whole sex thing.
I'm not talking. I'm telling you, being a hormonal kid, girls
as a formal hormonal kid,
girls as well.
Yeah,
but guys have their own special way of expressing it. And,
yes, ladies, yes, we do.
And and usually in that stage of your life, right? That kind of preteen stage of boys.
Yeah, it's a toaster. Stuff pops up. I mean, it's hormonal. We're raging.
But I'm thinking more the violent end of the spectrum of the boys, because it really is. I mean, you can be a very peace-loving person, like me, and you still will go watch. Godzilla's on after school. Let's go watch this. Okay, this is awesome. I just feel like I want to punch your kid brother in the arm. It's just like, what is that? That's random. I don't know. It's just like, come here. Let's see what happens if we take your kid brother and throw him across the room and try to toss him into the couch.
Right.
And then the thing is it's not even violence really, because the kid brother's like, okay, let's see what happens.
Right.
Smashes in the brick wall in the basement, and the kid brother's like, ah! Right. Mom comes down, what are you doing with the kid brother?
Right. And half the time the kid brother doesn't even know what's going on, right? He just enters the room and the first thing he hears is brr, brr. Next thing you know, you're thrown across the room.
Yeah. But I mean, it's a participatory thing. It's not. It's usually not it's like usually the kid brother's like, okay, sure, let's try it. That would be interesting.
Hey,
But by the time the mom's down there going, what the hell are you all doing?
Right.
And the kid brother's got like blood running down.
That stuff happens.
And all the older boys are like, nothing. I don't know what happened.
Right.
It's like,
Tom, get in here. Bobby got smashed into the wet bar.
Oh,
break out the hydrogen peroxide. I think he's a bleeder.
Tiki bar.
Right.
Yes, Dad comes out of the shop. What the hell's going on?
Right. Lifts up his welding mask. What's going on?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on? I'm welding something. I'm welding a gate.
Right. Oh, those precocious kids. What are they up to now?
I'm welding a cage for you crazy monsters. What the hell are you doing? What are you doing, Brenda? Nothing. Don't say nothing. I know something happened down here. And then, but Dad just looks at the bleeding kid, like kind of
clean it up.
He'll be okay.
Yeah, clean it up. Roll around, rub some dirt on it, and get back in the game. Yeah. I'm gonna go back into the shop where I'm welding your octagon, so you guys can have the cage matches later.
Exactly.
Because Dad knows what's going on, right? He knows the prepubescent boys or post-pubescent boys. They're doing full on,
He doesn't care.
No, he don't care. He's been there.
And then about that time, the little kid with the, who, again, willingly participated in this.
Bobby's trickling blood,
He was not like, no. He was like, sure, I'll fly. Let's see. Right. At this point, he's doing this.
I'm fine.
And then holding on to Mommy's thigh.
Yeah.
All right, Bobby, come on, I'll take you upstairs. I'm making some cookies or something. Right. And ice cream.
Yeah, meanwhile, she's going completely bonkers because it's not a one or even two Band-Aid. It's a full-on gauze situation. And so little Bobby's, he's trying to be a man, though, right?
Exactly. That's exactly it, right? And then
Brad, the big brother, the guy who flung the poor Bobby against the wet bar, he's like looking over Mom's shoulder, just kind of like rubbing it in, like I'm always going to be older than you little, whatever, so and so.
And then they go up the stairs, and the older boys like look at each other and go, "Whoa, we dodged that bullet." Hey, hey, Pagoda, right right there. He just split his foot and smashed the crocodile. Yeah, and then you hit your other friend in the arm.
Right?
It's just like this very hitting kind of.
Right.
I was, and I was like, always like, I tried to avoid fights, mainly because I lost them. But, well, I mean,
Yeah.
I was already watching Star Trek. Logical, avoid fights, Captain. You'll lose them.
Yeah,
except Kirk never lost a fight,
I mean, by that time, you'd already moved up the evolutionary chain, right? Yeah. So you're like, listen, live long and prosper, and these kids are trying to give you wedgies.
Yeah.
It's not cool.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, so I was like, kind of doing that, but it was always like, you always punching, and then someone would come, and I mean, it was just like, hey, Jason.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Right in the arm.
Listen, I'm gonna.
It was like, it was courtesy. It was like shaking hands and bowing. It was like,
hey bro, what's going on? Smacking him. Listen, I'm gonna.
And it was hard too. It wasn't just like, well, let me see how hard I can throw my greeting fist to you.
Yeah, it's that pubescent boy passive aggressive thing. I'm kidding, but am I kidding? Listen, I'm gonna make a deep, heartfelt. I'm gonna out myself here right now, right? If you really know me, you already know this, but listen. I am the youngest of 3 brothers.
Oh wow!
Yeah, in other words, if you know the food chain, the youngest one gets just picked on relentlessly, right? It's a pack mentality, right? We're no longer kids; we're wolves. And so, as the youngest, I was the kid being thrown into the wet bar, and then grabbing mommy by the. Yeah, I was that kid. I'm grabbing mommy by the leg, See, that's how I got it all down, right?
How to do that.
Right. I met mucho practico, right? And then mom's like, hey, all right, here's a cookie and stuff. Because, look at me now, right? And so that I was getting knocked in the wet bars a bunch, and she kept feeding me cookies because I ended up like this.
Exactly.
So,
I was going to go there, but
if only she would have done yogurt, things would have been different.
Yeah, I was going to go there as far as the whole...
I was going to go there, man.
Does put on some pounds, but...
Yeah. Those cookies, man. Next, because they're pacifying. What's Bobby going to do now? He's got a big cut over his eye. He may need stitches. We don't know. But, what are we going to pacify? Your mom, right? She's not pacifying because she's generally, she may be generally caring, but she just wants you to shut the heck up, right? Because she wants to get back to the late, like Oprah on at that time or whatever, and she doesn't want some screaming kid yelling for cookies.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was like, see, my confession.
Yeah. Wow. This is like Wednesday Confessions. Wednesday Confessions. There you go.
What? So now it's like, hey, now that you're done with this, this.
Yes.
See, NuzBox stays.
Yeah. It's like the NuzBox is kind of a confessional, right? You go into the box.
Yeah,
right?
Well, and we need to
live outside the box, but confess inside the box.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a segment A, now you just have to make a jingle for it.
Yes.
That's next. We've talked about that, actually.
Yes.
We don't have that yet.
It's coming. Coming soon.
Because it requires actually someone to go do something.
Right.
It's just like, that's what happens.
Right.
But, we need the rosary in here, I mean,
right.
we need a rose, and it's like, well, So my confession is...
Right.
That
let me get into confession. Let me get into father.
Well, you said you were the youngest, so you were the kid getting thrown in the bar.
Oh yeah, I was getting tossed anyway. In fact, one time, Doc, I got hung on. You're gonna love this. I got hung on the back of a door on a nail by my underwear.
No.
It happened.
No. I don't question that at all.
Oh, it happened.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
That must just be a thing in the book of prepubescent adolescent boys. It's like chapter 6: hang your young brother by a hook.
Yeah. Yeah,
was it on the door, did you say?
On the door, on the back side of the door, dude.
Beautiful.
They hung me up there, and this was, the Fruit of the Looms, right?
When the dad opens the door, he goes, "Where's your brother?"
Yeah, I'm getting slammed, right? Right.
God, we could just, we are now spitballing.
Yeah.
Our John Hughes inspired adolescent teen boy film.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah, this is like Uncle Buck on crack. This is great.
I think that maybe we, it's not coffee with curmudgeons. It would just be like I don't know, spitball. The pitch, right? We each show we pitch a new idea for a TV show or a series, you know.
Yeah, this is like coffee confessions.
Yeah, you're really into that confessions,
right?
So what my confession is that I was an only child, so I was the neighborhood kid that would hang out with the other kids with all the little brothers and stuff.
Right.
So I would be like, you know, one of the what do they call them in war crimes? Co-conspirator.
Gotcha.
So in the
gotcha. You got to give the ding off that one. Co-conspirator. We're dinging today. Okay.
Prepubescent, adolescent co-conspirator.
Oh, that's a mouthful,
dude. I'm spitballing. This is how I get the show titles. I'm doing show titles,
right?
Now. Little tiny show titles that sneak in. If you look at the description, you'll actually see them in the podcast feed now.
Right. Sweet. Father O'Flaherty's Confessions. This is great.
Yeah. But so that's Godzilla. And so if Lady Liberty were updated for 2017, she might be a little heavier. Like in a Godzilla sort of 2014. I want to say it was.
And she could hide it well too with the flowing robes. I mean, you can get away with a lot of, you know.
Yeah. So I mean, not the French svelte Lady Liberty kind of statue. I've actually seen the prototype.
Did you?
Yes.
There's a prototype?
Yeah, so to speak, yes.
Oh.
It is on the River Seine in Paris.
Gotcha.
So if you float down the river, as I recall, it was on the river. Mm-hmm. And here's a little thing, and it's there it is. It's the Statue of Liberty, but it's small. It's smaller. It's like a normal-ish statue size.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe could be Portlandish size.
Okay.
But no bigger.
Okay. Yeah.
Smaller, maybe.
Yeah.
There's pictures of it. Because I think they were at a World's Fair or whatever, and they had it at the World's Fair. Do you remember seeing a picture of a little Statue of Liberty, like black and white, like Paris World's Fair or something like that? It's that one, I believe.
I may or may not. I was too busy watching monster movies.
I want to fact check it. Because you're just going along on a little tour barge, minding yourself, you know, Paris. So we're in Paris now. Look at that. Oh, that's Notre Dame. I've seen that in a book before. And then it's like, hey, that's the Statue of Liberty. That's a lot smaller than I thought, and I thought it was in New York.
That looks familiar.
And you know what sucks?
What?
I've been to New York a handful of times. I have never been to seen the Statue of Liberty. Can you believe that?
So you never laid eyes on Lady Liberty?
Maybe just as we were flying over LaGuardia or whatever, and it was like, hey, look, take a quick see that spot out there?
Right,
on the bay? That's okay. Barely can see it. I think that's torch, it, but I have not seen it.
Gotcha.
I wonder if our friend Betty's gone there yet. She hasn't mentioned it. But I mean, it's like a thing you got to do. And I've never been in New York. Usually, you know, you're working, you're doing stuff, you don't have time. But
you've been on Empire State, right?
Yes.
There you go.
In fact, on my Instagram, on my social media, I have a little composite picture, a really cool picture I took of it at night.
Ooh.
What it was is, it's one of, and it was an iPhone picture, right?
Yeah.
Not even the new, it was like iPhone 4S, so it is what it is. But it was such a cool, artsy picture. Mm-hmm. I was on, I think it was 32nd Street. Mm-hmm. There it said 32nd Street. This was at night. This was like 9 p.m. something in the fall at night.
Yeah.
There's a cloud cover over New York that's just above the Empire State Building.
Ooh.
And so there's lights on the Empire State Building.
Yeah.
So the lights are shining up and illuminating the cloud that's reflecting down.
Oh, that is awesome. Yeah.
No, it was like you're in New York City, right?
Yeah.
You're just walking there. You're like, and we were kind of in the vicinity. Like, yeah, come on, we'll go around the block. You'll see the Empire State. We'll just look at it here from across the block, right? It's like, cool, let's do that. You walk around, you look up, and it's like night, and it was like, whoa, look at the clouds and the light and everything.
Yeah.
And I shot this picture in black and white.
Nice.
It's incredibly noir. It's incredibly... probably, you know, when you have like your Instagram and your social photography and your iPhone, definitely top 10 picture that I've ever taken. Probably in the top 5, maybe even the top 3. I even had it in a banner for my blog at one point.
Nice.
Because it was just like, this is, and you're kind of like, hey, I worked on taking this picture, but at the same time, you're like, you're like, but, part of photography, unless you're a completely professional photographer, is luck. You do the skills, take the picture. I think I got it.
Right.
So yeah. So I'm
interesting. Awesome. Yeah.
See what I'm doing right there?
There you go.
Patting myself on the back, but I'll put it up. Actually, it would make a good spinner back here.
That would be cool.
Since Murphy Jenkins struck the studio today, that's something that I didn't get to, spinners. But now that I think about it, would be a great background spinner. Yeah, right. It's really good. It's again, I'm just like patting myself on the back. Oh, great, Doc. Real good job there.
Why not? I mean, you take a shot like that, you got it.
Yeah, it would make a good background, like here, like this little Portland thing.
Noirish background.
Well, I could have got the New York one or the Paris one.
Oh.
They're just 2 stalls down at the IKEA. They
just 2 stalls down. That's cool.
Who knew they had a Portland one at IKEA? Yeah. Makes a nice little fake background.
Right. Well, hey.
And the news from Portland, Oregon. We have news from Portland, Oregon.
We do.
Big news.
Big news.
Yeah. Crazy news. So a week ago.
Okay.
And I know this because I was just finishing things up. I was downtown. We didn't do anything on Wednesday.
That's right. Yeah.
Because I was downtown doing stuff and things were gone from here. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
It was like, basically the art museum was where I was at.
Gotcha.
So this week, just a week ago, yesterday.
Okay.
And I believe it's starting Monday night. Gosh, a lot of things happened Monday night after the show was over. There was a underground fire.
Yes.
Downtown.
Yes.
Downtown Portland.
Yes.
Downtown here.
Downtown Portland.
See, there's Portland back there. Underground fire that took out
a huge swath.
Swath of downtown.
Burnside to they said like Burnside to Jefferson or something.
Basically,
like that.
All of Southwest Portland.
And,
it sounded like
which
downtown
is like the
Portland.
Coin Building, all that stuff.
Everything, including the art museum and all of that.
Bank of California building, U.S. Bancorp Tower, all that stuff.
Yeah, check it out. So big fire, and partially it's. Also, if you read, it's not so much the effects of having a big substation fire underground like that. It's also they got to shut stuff down.
Right.
Like it's like, well, that wasn't directly caused by the fire, but as a result of the fire, we have to shut that down.
Yeah.
So I want to say it was Monday night. I think Jesus right. and Mary Chain. This band, very popular band.
You telling me they're behind the fire?
They were playing at the Crystal Ballroom.
Oh, okay.
Shut their show down. Show canceled, and they got a huge, following here in Portland. Yeah. I know folks always on my Facebook who go shut down because it just Crystal Ballroom went dark down there. Art Museum shut down the next day, Tuesday morning by even like 5 a.m. I was up and seeing what was going on. The power was out. I think we should look. I think power by now should have generally been restored. We should look at that, shouldn't we?
Yes.
But big huge deal.
Yeah, I remember seeing the warning, and I remember them saying the power, their estimation was going to be out until like I think it was like Tuesday at 5:30 p.m.
Yeah. I'm gonna look it up here.
Like, there's a whole bunch of people in downtown that got the day off, because obviously lights are out. Well, what are you gonna do?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's interesting because had we been doing the thing I was doing last week downtown, it would have shut the whole thing down. It would have been like,
yeah, that would have been not good.
That particular company owns a major property downtown too, so they I mean, it's just like, wow, crazy. So yes, power restored after downtown power outage. That was 15 hours ago, so that would have been last night, Tuesday night. That's the headline in KOIN. An underground electrical fire caused a power outage, left more than 2,000 customers in downtown Portland in the Pearl District without electricity all day Tuesday. Now, 2,000 does not sound like a lot of customers. I mean, yeah, it's always sucks, but if you think of power outages, 2,000 seems small. The point is those 2,000 customers are one condo building, one office building, that sort of thing. So those are actual meters. So those 2,000 could represent a whole high-rise building that's out, or a whole office complex.
Right.
So that's why, when you're talking a downtown area.
Exactly.
Affected coverage area, much of the western part of downtown. Yep. So east side was generally okay, roughly from Northwest Davis Street to Southwest Jefferson Street. Yeah. I wonder if it's shut. Does that mean Portland State University too? I don't know if it affected them.
I don't know.
From I-405 to the west to Southwest Broadway. So if you know Portland, there's pretty much the whole.
They may have just escaped it.
Yeah, the west side of Portland.
Yeah,
I think so. This is Pacific Power, and the way this works, there's two power. Yeah, Pacific Power. The way it works is there's two power companies. There's Pacific Power and PGE, and I think in downtown they're segregated. So this was, I think, a Pacific Power area versus PGE, and I think you're right. I used to live right there off campus.
Yeah.
Portland State, and that might have been PGE. So they
could have been, yeah.
So, and then there's like a picture of a burnout manhole. Wow.
Burned out manhole.
Well, these things happen. It's interesting because I think, was it last year sometime in New York, there was a big underground fire that took out.
And I guess it's not so uncommon there. Like when manhole covers go shooting into the sky or whatever because the pressure builds up.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. Yeah. I did some research on transformers once because when we have storms,
more than meets the eye.
Yeah, when we have the storms and all of that, and and then you're like, I just heard a gigantic boom, and you're like, it's like usually some sort of transformer event, and I these late night research, sometimes the brain cells don't stick.
The neurons aren't popping.
I just remember stuff about mineral oil and getting too hot and exploding and pouring hot mineral oil down on the street. And I was like, oh, that's not a good thing. But they have some safeguards, like they have to go remotely test to make sure the mineral oil doesn't boil off and explode or something like that. And now, folks, you're probably going to be like, I think it's a different chemical or whatever, but still. I mean, it's basically a coolant is in there.
Right.
And if the coolant, what happens in your radiator, so you, boom.
Things are going to blow.
And that thing's like up there, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. So it's a UFO.
So that's the end of the show. Thank you very much.
Good night, everybody.
Exploding transformers. But anyway, so that was kind of an interesting tidbit. Let's go back to Godzilla. Okay. That was an interesting tidbit. I like it when I just redid and I didn't tweet it. I didn't set up. Remember, I was always like, I got to set up the automatic on Twitter. I got to set up the automatic on Twitter. What did I not do last night?
Automatic on Twitter.
Yep, that's right.
Gotcha.
Anyway, but I did. Look, did I mention this?
See, look at that. Isn't that sniffy? That's great with the...
I got something new for you, though. Yeah, you're going to love this.
Yeah.
We're just playing with the video.
We're like a real network now. Look at that. Because it's got that thing in the corner.
Wait till you see.
Wow. Oh! Call us now.
I did that one for you. No. There's 2 exclamation points there.
Thank you.
Now.
Thank you. Yeah. I don't know how and when I fell into being an exclamation point guy, but I'm always like adding exclamation points, even when it's unwarranted.
I did that for you.
Thank you. Call us now, 503-395-5040.
I can actually read that from here, too.
I just see red blur. My eyesight sucks, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, we covered that last time.
Call us.
You can call us. We actually the computer, as we were trying to get on, a couple of these computers couldn't get on the internet, and their video was all whack. This never happens, right?
Yeah,
but it happens. Oh, here, look at this. We're gonna go in the dimension.
Okay.
Like this. Oh, wait. It was you, actually, a minute ago.
Sorry, I was doing the sci-fi.
Let's just play. There we go. So you can see the call us now on the Facebook. You were on there a minute ago.
Yeah, actually it's better than I'm not on.
Anyway,
we don't want to turn it off.
Okay.
Oh look, it's Godzilla.
So yeah, you can call.
Yeah,
if you want to.
Call now.
But
sure,
why not? So. Anyway, so yeah, we let's see. We're gonna. I don't know. There's just lots of news.
There is.
One thing is we had Doc Housel on, and we talked about Wonder Woman a lot because she's, and that's that DC Universe thing.
Yes.
And I did say, how I'm kind of wasn't, like other fans, was just the DC Universe, the Batman, or the Superman, the Batman v Superman, and then one of the news stories that got hammered with so many other news stories was that Zack Snyder was stepping down, and I did say I felt compelled to say, look, no matter what I just thought I didn't go on a rant because that's old. I don't need to go on a rant about that, and there's plenty of I like it, I don't like it, I don't like it.
Yeah,
but I just wanted to single out that has nothing to do with someone's personal family tragedy.
Exactly.
And just so he lost his daughter in end of March and was trying to work through it and finish up the Justice League movie, and then he stepped down. And
it's, when you see it in hindsight now, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the Herculean effort that guy must have done on just a day-to-day.
Well, I was like, oh, this is terrible, and then I realized that it had happened like a month, go, and you kind of go, well, that's weird, but I can say from personal experience, sometimes when you're struck with the worst tragedy, and it's not maybe it's not health, who knows? But some people just, what do? I'm gonna go back to work.
Right. If I take my mind off of it, if I bury myself into the work, right.
So I mean, if you critique someone who does that, it's hard to. I can actually understand it myself, because I couldn't say that that's my approach to things sometimes too. Yeah. And so that was just really sad, and hopefully wish him well. I mean, it's just a terrible thing, but just, and as a result, Joss Whedon is taking the reins of that. So, but it has nothing to do with the movies. It has nothing to do with anything. It's just, that's really sad, and that was just really random because we were on Monday talking about those movies and all that.
Coincidental that we were talking about, because I mean, literally, as the summer movies get thrown out, and it's May, the beginning of May, when everything starts ramping up for the summer, and so we figured, since all this stuff is dropping now, we need to bring on Doc Housel because we need to talk about all the stuff that's been coming out and will come out over the next month or two.
So I felt compelled to put a message on there.
Sure. Understandable. Yeah.
More and more coffee I really needed today. But and I always forget that with Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
When you read his filmography, and the reason he's doing these movies is he directed a movie that I absolutely loved. The Watchmen movie. Brilliant movie. I think one of the best of kind of that whole genre. It's dark, it's adult, it's not for kids.
Yeah.
But I didn't read the graphic novel, and I do know it's good. I've flipped through it.
Yeah.
But so I don't know how people who were into that then approached the movie, but just as watching it as a standalone movie, it was like, oh, I had heard this is good, and then I finally got it, and I think it was kind of a little bit of a director's cut, but I was like, wow, that hands down, that is a really that's a hell of a ride.
Yeah, it literally is one of the very, very few movies of a graphic novel that lived at the very minimum. Lived up to the hype. I thought it
did well.
Oh, it compared to the.
It was a good movie, though.
It was a great movie.
If you knew nothing about that, which I didn't know anything about Watchmen, just going into it and going, okay, I'm going to watch this movie and watch these characters, and it just messes with your head. It's just
alternate universe sort of stuff, right? And then it's fantastic movie. Great
performances are really good in that too. So that was that was a great movie by Zack Snyder. I mean, and look, same thing. I have critical. You can critique everybody, on their work, like Christopher Nolan. I think he's really great, but there's stuff I don't, not too, I wasn't that taken with Interstellar. I know I have to go back and watch it again.
It's Clooney, right?
No, that was Gravity. This Interstellar was Matthew McConaughey.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
The effects were interesting and good, but just, I don't know. When you start to go off into a science-y sort of a thing, I felt that Interstellar was kind of like trying to be our 21st century 2001-ish, but you can't
duplicate that.
No. As the man says, you can't touch this.
Speaking of short aside, because stuff flies in my head and I can't. It's just coming out of the pie hole here. Right?
Jason?
I knew someone with the MC Hammer pants.
Oh,
he got just
not,
right. But there's always that one person that had MC Hammer pants, and he got just. Relenting, unmerciful in the crap, because a friend of mine was actually not a bad dancer. He'd come out with the old MC Hammer pants, and then one of my friends would walk up next to him and do that little side dance that MC Hammer does. Then he gets right.
I
can't touch us.
I have a soft spot in my heart for the MC Hammer. I really do. He was like fun, positive. I mean, he's is he still a preacher now?
I believe he is. Yeah.
And
his story. He has a really good backstory, right?
Oh yeah.
After he left the scene, right? I mean, here's a guy. At one time, he's got like I think they said that by the time at his peak, he was sitting on like $65 million.
That sounds right.
Right.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and so. At that time, you got the entourage.
Doesn't he like hawking Taco Bell or burgers or something? Yeah. Even I mean, that's where you make your money,
right? Yeah, and so he had all this money, but all the entourage, all the trappings, the mansions, the cars, the Learjets. After the limelight is over, he is flat broke.
Yep, he went bankrupt.
Yeah, and it's one of those stories of what am I going to do now? I mean, you've been to the mountain, you've seen the burning bush, and now, I mean, you literally have to start over again. And his story, from that moment to entering, his, becoming a minister and starting that up, it's quite it's an interesting story. And if you have a few minutes, check it out, because it's one of those weird stories you read about, years down the line later. And like, wow, I never knew that.
Yeah. I actually was. I remember because he, after all that went down, he like went on Oprah or whatever different talk shows. He was actually telling his story and then preacher. Imagine that,
right?
Because gotta get that money.
Hey, listen. Well, yeah, entertainment.
I don't know. I don't have any. I mean, I always thought he was a good guy, and it was. You remember when he came out and can't touch this and all that, right? And his lyrics and everything.
Yeah.
And then
you got to pray.
Oh yeah,
pray.
I love that song. Actually,
you got to pray.
See, okay, soft spot in my heart for that.
There you go.
Come on, you couldn't walk into a club back in the late what is it, mid '80s, late '80s with the Aquanet and the Spanish stuff, and then it was kind of like it was kind of like a heavy metal, and then it was like MC Hammer dancing, and the ladies would be dancing, and
if it ain't him, it's Tone Loc.
Oh my gosh!
All right, yeah, if it ain't him, it's Tone Loc.
Tone Loc was even better because he had the Van Halen tracks, so it'd be like Van Halen and rap.
Yeah,
it doesn't get any better than this at the Copper Penny.
I picked apart a Tone Loc song, the same one with Van Halen, right? Mm-hmm. Do you know what the other little riff is?
Which one? No.
And I'll tell you. It is Christian 16 Kiss.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Now, is this in the
It's that song, the same one with the Van Halen one.
Oh, okay, yeah. What's the name of that? Well, it's that hit. He had a couple other hits.
Funky Cold Medina, right?
Funky Cold Medina is another hit.
And Wild Thing.
Wild Thing is the one with the Van Halen.
Yeah.
With the Van Halen's something from, I think I want to say from Van Halen 1. I would have to go back and listen to it. Yeah. But Wild Thing is the one with the Eddie Van Halen riffs.
Yes.
Funky Cold Medina, it was his second follow-up hit.
Funky Cold Medina.
Great voice, too. But you remember, like, they had those guys.
That voice like this.
Right?
Yeah.
And then who else was coming up? Well, he'd already come up, and I got a Google one for you that you're going to love. Ooh. We won't put it on here, but the other guy who's coming up then was Ice-T.
Ice, babe. Vanilla Ice.
No,
Ice-T.
Not Vanilla Ice.
Oh,
Ice-T.
Okay, yeah.
And
Colors.
What was he doing?
Yeah.
Gangsta rap.
Yes.
So, like, at the same time, we had, Run DMC, and then there was a MC Hammer, and what about what's his name? Young MC?
Oh wow, yeah.
Was that? Yeah, I'm trying to think.
Young MC.
That one guy. He had to get so there was a whole bunch of like rap and
Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Rap influenced stuff. Even Nina Cherry. I'm a huge Nina Cherry fan.
Buffalo, didn't she?
Buffalo Stance. Yeah. So yeah, I had that record. That was a good record. But anyway, you had all that stuff, and then we had the gangster rap, right?
Yes.
And then
NWA,
Dr. Dre, and all that. And which I still haven't seen that movie. And that's when like, oh man, then in the media you couldn't get away from that because it was like the gangster rappers versus the mainstream
East Coast versus West Coast
R&B.
Yeah.
But it was like, was it Ice-T was Cop Killer, right?
Yeah, he was in that group.
And that was huge. That was so
Body
controversial.
Count. I went out and got that when it came out. Cop Killer, yeah.
So controversial.
Oh, huge at the time. Some places were trying to ban it.
Oh yeah.
Them and the 2 Live Crew.
Yep.
They were banning.
Well, Two Live Crew weren't they? They were more just like dirty. Yeah.
Everyone say hey. Nah,
Is that an old dirty bastard? Yeah, I am not a rap.
That's 2 Live Crew. They're from Miami.
No, but I was Florida, like, is it ODB?
Old Dirty Bastard.
Yeah. Was he 2 Live?
No.
Anyway, okay. He was another act. But anyway, I just remember 2 Live Crew and their album covers and stuff.
Yeah,
and they were all like, it was like the... But I just remember this huge... I mean, this was like... it hadn't been this big since... And I want to say this has got into the late 80s and 90s because the gangster rapper was... That whole thing was becoming popular. It's not that it was new, right?
No,
it has been there. But now, like...
Well, because remember the movie...
Young white children were listening to this music now. Hey, Cop Killer.
Because remember the movie Colors? Robert Duvall,
Great movie.
Yeah, and so it kind of...
I've not seen that movie in so long, but...
It kind of put that in the forefront, and people, oh, wow.
There's also... there was also another movie about gangs that was a really heartbreaking movie, and I can't
Boys in the Hood?
Was it? Yeah, I think it...
Where the guy's going over a scholarship and he's running and he gets shot.
It was Boys in the Hood. Yeah. And I can't remember the director's name. It wasn't
Lawrence Fishburne.
It wasn't Spike Lee.
Yeah.
It was at the time Spike Lee was making a bunch of his really good movies. I should know who the director was, but yeah, Boys in the Hood and all that came out. And that was like really like good movies. But I just remember that this thing was so controversial in the media. It was like when the Tipper Gore was trying to label all the records.
PMRC, man, yeah.
And Frank Zappa was testifying in front of Congress.
Yeah, and Dee Snider.
Those were good times when Twisted Sister and Frank Zappa were testifying in front of Congress. And and by the way, what people found out in the media is Frank Zappa and Dee Snider weren't these crazy pants people freaking out. They were actually intelligent.
Especially Zappa. Zappa gets up there and he's analytical, he's breaking stuff down into subparts, and you could tell literally because, they're just going to get these rockers on there and we're going to rip them to shreds,
Right.
They're just dirty rockers,
Oh, yeah, Zappa, it was...
Yeah, and then Zappa gets down there and he's, like, bringing, like, props and stuff, like little flash charts and everything, and he's blowing everyone's mind,
There's a lot. If you Google, you go to YouTube and stuff, there's been a lot of footage that's been put up from the Zappa archives of just his interviews. And he was one of, aside from music, he was one of the best interviews. Like, back in our day, it would be like you'd have to pick up a magazine, like a music magazine or something, to read a Frank Zappa interview. It wasn't like he was mainstream. You could maybe watch Night Flight on cable. Because if you watched Night Flight...
He was on there a bit.
Sometimes MTV a little bit. MTV, Night Flight, Zappa would do interviews.
More Rolling Stone and things of that nature.
But you had to pick up like a musician magazine or one of those magazines to read a real in-depth... And you would read his stuff, and then later if you'd catch his interviews, and he was like really... Aside from all the music, he was an incredible interviewer, credible thinker. His ideas about politics and things like that were just spot on post Watergate. Rather libertarian in a way, but also not in the crappy way. I'd also say, but
no.
But he was really a heck of a thinker, and there's a lot of video you can go up. Just Google Frank Zappa and watch some of those interviews and watch what he says about. Gosh, I don't know, freedom, government, things like that. Art, right? Military spending.
Yep.
And of course, some of this worked into the album he released around the time he testified to Congress, which I think is Tinseltown Rebellion. He actually, there's a whole like long, his music's, not airplay type music. I mean, they're long, but he's got this one piece I remember, and it's all like the music, and I think there's some singing, but the background to all the music is like the testimony in front of Congress.
Wow.
And it's like senator from the thing. It's pretty funny. I haven't listened to that record in a long time. I had it somewhere.
He was always experimenting.
Yeah, well, he's
that's what he does.
Yeah, he was that. But boy, and every time I see a Zappa thing come up, and I'll watch a little bit, and I'll get really kind of not emotional, but we in desperate times you need people like that speaking, and we just don't have them anymore. He died like in his early 50s of cancer, so definitely left before his time, but man, it's like, where are the people like Frank Zappa? Where are the people who are in the media, who aren't like just like sitting there screaming or touting in the environment we're in right now, touting some goose-stepping bull crap? And I'm sorry, it's just, I don't care what happens. History proves that the goose-stepping bull crap doesn't work out, no matter what's going on out in the world.
And to show you how much music is a touchstone in people's lives, right? When I see stuff on the news and things like literally what we were just talking about, my mind always thinks of that Simon and Garfunkel, hey Joe DiMaggio, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio, or a nation turns its lonely eyes to you, right? Where we need a hero and there's no one,
You're killing me, man. We were talking about Simon and Garfunkel just a show or two ago.
I think so, right? Yeah.
And you just bring up a
where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? Everyone, and then the other one, that other song, the Dion, right? Or my John Abraham and did you hear my friend John?
My friend John
Kennedy.
That's not the Beatles.
No, it's like Dion, right?
Oh, okay.
Is that right?
I don't know. You're like it's like name a Frank Zappa song. Peaches and Regalia.
Yeah, that's it.
Dynamo Home.
Right.
No, not Dynamo Home. That's not a political song. It's a song about a lady friend who has
cute
toys.
She's got toys.
I think. Yeah. Anyway, no, I know the song you're talking about.
Yeah.
I always thought it was like the Beatles, though, but I'm not. I do the best I can with the brain cells I've got. So, but I guess the point we're coming to, and it's something I've actually was thinking about. It was on my mind last night. Is how do you counteract terrible things that happen in the world, and I am convinced more than ever, and when I encounter people who are actively doing this, it's art, it's contemplation, it's being an artist. If you're making music, if you're making art, if
poetry,
you're writing, I don't care what it is. And I know that the elephant in the room is that we had a big terrible terrorist attack in Manchester at Ariana Grande concert. It's horrible. And and it fits some of the MO of what we've seen.
Right.
But what usually the aftermath is, and what I see, like on the 5 or whatever, and granted, it's Fox, it's the 5. I know what I'm going to get, right?
Right, yeah.
And Juan Williams
a hot serving of crap.
Well, what was that guy? Gutfeld?
Greg Gutfeld. I'm so disappointed.
My new guy that just has. See, I don't want to say what I want to say.
Yeah.
He has a certain face that. This is terrible of me to say.
I know.
That elicits a certain reaction in me of what I want to, and I'm not going to say it.
But
when he opens his mouth, he's like that guy at the party that you just want to shut up.
Yeah, he is that, and the perfect word for him is I'm gonna throw it out there. And when you think of Gutfeld, and when he gets going, he gets that little facial stuff. Yeah. It's smarmy. He gets that smarmy face, and it makes you, it makes you want to kick him in the biscuits and gravy right there, dude.
And see, I didn't want to say that because I don't want to do the violence reaction thing.
I just changed it. I said biscuits and gravy rather than,
Right. You're at breakfast. He has biscuits and gravy. You walk up and you go, I'm kicking your breakfast.
Yeah, I'm going to kick you in the biscuits and gravy.
See, I want to avoid that because I don't think it helps anymore. I'm trying to be more sensitive to it. But, you're trying to avoid that.
There's some things, though, right?
Boy, if I just, he was on the 5. Was it? I think it was last night. And right, I can't stand Jesse Waters.
No. That guy gives me.
But look at that guy, and he's smart. But you know what you're going to get.
Right.
It's just like Dennis Miller. It's like, okay, I know what I'm going into.
Right. Yeah.
That's okay. At least, even Bill Maher. I'm not a big fan of Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not.
I have kind of a soft spot for Bill Maher.
I know what I'm going to get into.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I just want that reasonable person in the middle, kind of. That's what I'm looking for. Kind of Zappa, my Zappa.
Right, but in entertainment, reasonable doesn't pay. But you got to be you got to be all polarized.
And Mars has and does say some stupid crap. I'm sorry. I don't.
I'm not going to totally defend him. Yeah, he does. But
no, he just stuff comes out of his pie hole. It's like, no. Anyway, but let's not talk about Bill Maher. Let's talk about Gutfeld.
Gutfeld
Is that his name? Gutfeld.
Greg Gutfeld. Yes.
Greg. So when we were reading about the 5, because we wanted to, because I check it out, and we even had big news, so it was topical.
Yeah.
Because Juan Williams was there.
I like Juan. Yeah.
I like Juan.
From
NPR.
Yeah.
He's got kind of a soft voice, too, which is helpful these days. Kind of
soothing, right? He's one
of
those guys that comes from the old school news. Even when he's giving you bad news, it's kind of hey, everything is going to be all right. The world may be a dark place, and people are having all sorts of issues, but I'm going to report the news, and I'm not going to just scream at you. That's NPR's whole thing, right? There's coming up later.
Yes.
Instead of fresh air, it's going to be dead air.
Did you take your medicine today?
Right. Yeah.
Get ready for the Prairie Home Companion and Terry Gross.
Right.
Don't take too much medicine.
Don't miss it. Garrison Keillor is going to be on crack today.
I'm trying to remember now. I totally lost it. The Patrick Stewart phrase in conspiracy theory. Do you have your anyway? I'm
not in that frame of mind.
Yeah,
that came out of left field. It'll hit me around 4 in the afternoon.
I know what it was, but I'm just like, So this Gutfeld guy, and we were reading about him, and he's a libertarian, right?
Yeah.
That's what he's supposed to be, the libertarian. And if you see the 5, they're supposed to be like different, like I mean, it's Fox, but they should be different. Like, Juan Williams is not the right-winger guy there, right? You got to have the right-winger guy, right?
Right, yeah.
And so the Scotfield guy is supposed to be like the libertarian guy. Mm-hmm. And out of his pie hole comes the biggest goose-stepping security state, in my opinion.
Wow.
I mean, it's just like what we're talking about, Frank Zappa.
Calling
Frank
for martial law
in
or
his
something?
grave right now. I'm telling you, man. If Frank were
what
there,
was he doing? Was he doing like calling for martial law or something? Government needs to take over, get in your house.
Yeah, he was glad handing Duterte. Yeah. No, it was like, and this is what you always hear. We need to rethink this privacy. And as soon as the word privacy comes up, it's like, stop. First of all, we don't have any.
Yeah.
Oh, that whole thing where your cell phone records were captured, that's not new.
Right.
I come from the tech field. Mm-hmm. I know some things about tech.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I actually did, for a year or two in my career, work on wireless technology, which was fascinating, which was cellular data technology and all that.
Yeah.
First time I ever talked... Well, no, this was actually a different side of the technology, but I had wireless technology. Then I was doing some other technology. And here I'm having a coffee break around a bunch of techs from AT. Oh, I shouldn't say the name of the company.
Well, they can fill in the blank.
Jax Media. It doesn't matter. It's not unknown publicly.
Right.
But we're sitting there drinking coffee, and it's like, okay, so I had to learn all about how things work on your cellular network and where the servers are and what they do.
Right.
Turns out the way the technology works, it stores every damn thing you do on there. Mm-hmm. This is not new. This isn't like the CIA, NSA. It's like, because they have to keep track of what you're doing because remember, it used to be like, oh, you get billed for minutes. You still do, but now the packages with the iPhone, it's kind of like, well, everything's tracked. That's how cellular technology works. And what I found out when I did cellular technology, and this was a while back, so I think it's streamlined a little bit, but there was almost 5 to 10 different servers that transacted your cellular transaction when you made a call, when you sent a text, or when you did data.
Big Brother.
Yeah, no, this isn't Big Brother. This is Big Your Wireless Company.
Right.
Keeping track of everything you're doing, so every bit of information can be billed back to you. That's literally what it is.
Well, yeah, I guess that's where I'm going for, just part of the machine.
Yeah. But it was set up that way. Here's the thing. It wasn't really set up that way to spy on you. That's the outcome of it. Yes. It was set up because when you set up services, when you go make a business, all right, Jason and Doc's business. Ooh. We're going to make a business.
We'll call Jenkins Inc.
We're going to have a widget. Right?
Yeah, oh, okay.
And we're going to give that widget to our customers, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, and we're all excited, and we're going to paint the widget and do this.
Sweet.
And put an arm out here on the widget, and it'll do this, and customers will love it and everything.
Yeah.
And then we get the investors, and then the business people come in, the adults,
right?
The accountants. The marketing people, the operations people, because we're just building widgets. We just want to get these widgets in people's hands. We're excited. Customers like, oh, I like that strip of paint you put there and that little arm that pops out and they love our widget. Well, the business people come in and they go, wait a minute here. How much did that strip of paint cost?
All right.
Are you passing that cost on to your customers? And what's our margin on that strip?
Right.
Jason's like, I want to put this plastic little carabiner off the thing. Yeah. Jason, how much is that plastic carabiner going to cost in manufacturing? About 6 cents. Well, we're going to have to raise the price to 60 cents.
Right.
For our customers. And Jason's like, no, but we got to keep, they love our stuff. If we raise the price, they'll yell at us. Right. That's how business works.
It's like you're reading my mind. Yeah.
And so when the cellular networks were set up and everything,
Yeah.
every little feature, first it was calling, then it was texting, right? And then it was
data use, yeah.
Every little single feature in those companies, and you are talking about Verizon, which was GTE, Verizon, AT&T, Sprint. They're all the same.
All that stuff,
They're all the same.
Right.
Okay, they're all in competition. They T-Mobile, none of them are different. So they've got people in there going, every little bit that Jason does on our cellular network, we got to find a way to track that. And hopefully we can charge him for it. So that's how it works. It's a little bit different today because we people use heavy data and stuff, so we get the phone. But then you're surprised that they actually know what you're doing with that data. But those systems were in place long before we had, data tracking by the NSA and CIA.
Right. Yeah.
So all they did was come in and go, hey, can we put our server here? Sure. Could we actually just log into your server and look at your logs?
Right, because we just want to run analytics. We want to just look at stuff.
Every server, you go up to a web page, every server has logs. Last week I was going into the logs of our server. Why? To give the company the logs of their event, to say, well, here's the people, here's how many people were in, and here's their names and stuff, and here's, and that's not spying. It was like that's what they're doing, but you can set up your own server, turn on the logging. You can see everything that comes in.
There you go.
And you can track the IP address. This is not the NSA. This is just how it works in general. Right. Now, it kind of sucks for privacy, and then there's technology around it. So now I've just made Phil's argument for him.
Yeah. Crap.
You're like sitting here going, I thought you were against it. No, it's the stewardship of the data.
Gotcha.
And that's been the issue.
Right.
The data is always there, and it will always be there.
It's what you do with it.
It's what you do with it, and it's the stewardship of it. And so what happened in the past is these corporations say, that's basically our private property. Yeah. That's our intellectual property, our customer data.
Yeah.
And and then we have the privacy agreement that you, Jason, enter into.
Terms of service,
share
the
your
TOS,
stuff.
yes.
But from the beginning, and from the beginning of Telecommunications Act and
from
stuff.
From the beginning of time.
In all of those things you sign off on privacy policy, there's always a line there that says, if law enforcement comes knocking at the door with a warrant, all bets are off.
Right.
We're going to hand them your data.
Yep.
Because they have a warrant. And that's been the issue all along. Warrantless search and seizure.
Right.
Warrantless, I don't have a reason. I just want to collect it all.
Yeah.
And the argument that these people make is you have to have this to keep people safe. And first of all, I think it's a moot point. I don't think it's an issue. I think we have all that data. I think the government has that data. I think it's obvious now. There was a thing. It was originally called, if I recall, back in the day called Carnivore.
Yes.
And it was the Carnivore server.
Right.
And you could talk to techs at some of these wireless companies and internet companies like.
This was NSA, right?
Yeah, and literally if you knew someone in tech, or if you chatted with someone, they'd go, yeah, if you came into my data center, I could walk you over and point to a box. That would be it, know? And it's not hard. Again, I'm a tech guy, so I've worked with all these technologies. I've done packet sniffing. I've worked with, you just plug in a thing.
I don't want to talk about your packet sniffing, okay?
Well, you can do it yourself too, but then you have a device.
It's even worse.
Well, you just no.
Jason, why'd you get divorced? Well, your wife caught me packet sniffing.
Well, there are people who do that. I'm not saying I legitimately in a business sense, but if you have access, it's like see this fiber, click, click, click into my box. I'm done. Now I know what's going on in the world.
Right.
But now the argument has been encryption, privacy, and all that.
Right.
And what I was hearing from him, and then of course it just gets parroted around that 5, except for maybe Juan Williams.
Yeah.
Not Juan Williams, but the rest of them, right? Jesse Waters is like, oh, this is fun, but how can I turn this into a joke about dissing people of other ethnicities?
Right, yeah.
I need another Waters world. I missed that. That guy's just a hack. But anyway, so then we get the whole privacy, the whole encryption, and it's all bad, right? And literally every time I hear it, it's like everyone who is a bad guy is encryption all over. No, maybe they are using that. Mm-hmm. But I've seen in recent times cases where I think Paris and that, they just found a burner cell phone and there's the number. There was no encryption. It was like, hey,
right,
here it is. I mean, doing encryption and all that stuff, everyone thinks it's so easy. It's not necessarily that easy.
Right.
You got to load software. You got to do things. And some of it's hackable anyway.
Gotcha.
We had a case where the FBI was like, went to Apple and said, we've got it, and all of a sudden then they were like, oh, never mind, we're cool. Wow, really?
Gee, why is that?
Because you just told Apple, and this was Comey, right?
Yeah.
You just told Apple you had to have, the keys to the car, and then you just like got the Slim Jim.
Right. Never mind, we're good. It's cool. It's cool. Sorry, false alarm.
And that was in the San Bernardino case, I believe.
Gotcha.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, look, I know the reason we should always keep this on the table as a discussion, period. Mm-hmm. And you can have an opinion. I can see where you can have an opinion that you want to be able to look into people's devices. You want to see what's going on, and you want to catch people who are going to do bad things in the world. Hands down. Right. We agree.
Sure.
But when the public tragedy rolls out that march, it scares me, and I think there's I need my pullback. I need my yin and my yang.
And there's never a pullback, because think about it. When tragedy happens, then you say, wow, I'm glad these guys are all over it. Yeah, they need the tools to do their job, but after the tragedy is over, they never roll it back. It becomes a precedent, and then it just stays there. Whereas there's no any parameters set. Like, we can only do this in certain, in case of A, B, or C. It gets pulled back. It's used as the standard bearer to say, okay, this is the new.
Yeah, it doesn't get rolled back. Yeah, and it's like a nuclear bomb, right?
Yeah.
You can have the good guys.
Yeah.
Have the nuclear bomb for good reason.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Although that's a tough argument to make. Even ask Einstein.
Sure.
You can't.
Or Oppenheimer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you think in theory that a bomb was, created to deter fascism and horrible things.
Yeah.
The good guys. Well, that bomb can fall into the hands of the bad guys too. So,
sure.
So any kind of surveillance or anything. Look, we keep it light on this show.
Sure.
But we haven't talked about outcome of, I think, the WikiLeaks and all of that.
Right.
Was all of the hacking tools that, not the Russians, our guys. Was it CIA or NSA or
probably NSA?
I think it was by way of CIA, because the NSA's real good at that stuff, like keeping.
Oh, okay. I see where you're going with that. Yeah, NSA. They're the guys that you never know what's going on because they've already done it and they're already moved on.
Yeah, and they're just kind of we'd like to keep that secret.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Those hacking tools came out of the store of
could be the CIA.
Our own government.
Right.
And you're like, well, there you go. You're like, okay, I'm okay. I'm okay with these guys having that, because they could go use them to find the bad guys.
Yeah.
Now, famously, and I remember this from a long time ago. Mm-hmm. Actually, this is not a new news story. We in tech knew this story years ago about the Saddam Hussein. Was it Saddam Hussein printers? It was a new, or was it Iran? Iran, I think. Well, a bunch of technology, and I want to say it was printers, was sold to, I think it was Iran, one out there, and the government had secretly put a virus in the hardware in the ROM, and to get out on the network, on the worm, to mess with their military network.
Yeah.
And you're like, brilliant. Yeah, maybe we don't want those guys to do so well on their nuclear program.
Someone was thinking ahead.
Yeah, that was early times.
Right.
But that's a famous story. I'm sure you could go look it up. And I'm not going to go into the details. It was a long time ago. But things like that, those things have happened. Like companies sell technology and companies sneak in. Those are some of the things that were exposed in this leak with these hacking tools. Is things that can get usually it's in what we call the BIOS or the ROM or the real underpinnings. This is like if you can get in there and do stuff. Guts. Yeah, I mean that's like your problems in the carburetor. It's like you can do whatever you want on your operating system or whatever.
Yeah.
Look, your phone. Just as a note, your wireless company updates that underpinning code often on your phone. Mm-hmm. And sometimes they tell you, you go, oh, if you ever see a baseband update where they call it the baseband, which is the baseband radio update, that's some real low-level code on your phone. Gotcha. That's the code that runs the radio. That's not your Android or your iOS on top.
Yeah.
And so even like an iPhone or something like that, which is a pretty secure environment, iOS, relatively. They've had some breaches, but maybe arguably more secure than Android, maybe, I'd say. I run Android now, so whatever. It's all insecure at some point. But you can get in that underpinning code. Is this Tech Talk Wednesday again?
Yeah.
I think
it turned in from confessional to Tech Talk. It happens. We roll with it.
You need to put the kibosh on that. You need to put the gates. Anyway, well, we'll bring it back around. Yeah, so I always start getting really nervous when all those, encryption, privacy, whatever. If it's anything out there, I'll tell you what. I have a lot of confidence that people in our government, in the NSA, there's some pretty smart, bright people there.
Yeah.
Even FBI now. Sure. I mean, there was a point in the early days that the FBI was just flat-footed about technology.
Yeah, we're the G-man. Yeah.
But, they've got money. Even military, DNI. I mean, think of the money they're getting. So they can hire, they go to colleges, they recruit, they can go, hey, smart mathematical computer person, do you want to do crazy hacking experiments for the government?
Right.
And so I have a lot of confidence in those people. Yeah. I really do. They're not dumb. They know what they're doing. They're smarter than we are. So when the media goes off about that, we can't do this, we can't do that, we have to do this, it's another level down that I think it scares me because it makes me think that we're kind of opening it up. Now, some people argue we don't have privacy. Well, okay, yeah, there's that too.
But I always think in that sort of lateral level that by the time the rank and file people find out about it, where the real stuff is going on, they're probably 2 or 3 generations already ahead.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, it's kind of like America's Black Ops programs. When you see the stealth fighter, you say to yourself, well, I didn't know that. Yeah. But then they probably got something 2, 3, 4 generations already ahead of that. That's the stuff you never hear about.
Absolutely.
At least 30 years later.
Yeah, and that's was kind of my roundabout point about saying the way the network was designed, this data was being captured already before it was ever a discussion about, hey, should we fight, bad guys out there who are trying to do harm to everybody. The stuff's been there for a long time, so generations. You mentioned stealth fighter. Do you know that it's been confirmed? This is huge news. Huge news. Now, I have not checked this in depth, but my sources tell me on the headlines, confirmed.
Word on the street.
Mm-hmm. Top Gun 2.
Yep. That's what I saw this morning.
Top Gun 2. And late last night, in my secret locations, I read a secret leaked plot of Top Gun 2.
Really?
You ready for it?
Yeah, well, I want to hear the secret plot.
All right. Top Gun 2 takes place on an aircraft carrier.
Okay.
Tom Cruise is sitting on a brand new F-35.
Oh.
Waiting for the diagnostics download of software to go so he can take off.
Gotcha.
That's pretty much the whole movie.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He's just sitting on the tarmac.
He's just sitting on tarmac.
Waiting for his plane to reboot.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they...
no nothing.
Well, no, but hey, listen, it's Hollywood.
Nothing.
He's probably reading a Scientology book. He's not a Scientology guy anymore, is he?
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I thought I was going to get a laugh out of it.
No.
And I don't know where I read that. Someone had... It was, I think it was on Twitter or something. Yeah. And it was like really funny. The F-35 is the fighter that's having all the software problems right now.
He's stuck on the tarmac, because they're,
I was going to pull it up. It might be in my Facebook, but it was well done. Okay, I didn't deliver it well enough.
Well, that's all right.
Oh man, tough crowd.
Top Gun 2.
Not even a laugh. Not even a chuckle.
All right, I'm gonna do it. You ready? I'm gonna do that.
No, we're moving on.
Oh, we're moving on. Okay,
we're moving on.
Listen, what I hope.
But what could Top Gun 2 be? I mean, Tom Cruise is like 50 something.
I'm gonna tell you what Top Gun 2 should not be. Okay. They better not have that. They better not have that damn volleyball scene again, because who wants to see a bunch of middle-aged guys with their shirts off, with the beer? Can you imagine Val Kilmer now? How in the heck are they going to fit him into a plane? Let alone, do it like some funky volleyball scene.
You know what the opening line that Iceman has when he meets Maverick after all these years?
What's that?
I'll be a huckleberry.
Oh, a little tombstone action. Yes. Nice.
Oh, brother.
I guess the strain got to him. That's the other one. He shoots the guy. The guy's laying there on the bound. Oh, such a high-strung man.
Oh my God, that's what we want from Top Gun 2.
We do.
It's like Tom Cruise is like, what is he? What would he be now?
Top
captain. He'd be a captain or something. He's pretty high up there, major something. Or,
captain.
God, maybe they'd make him an admiral or
Admiral
something.
Cruise,
Vice admiral or something on a carrier.
Rear admiral. Tom Cruise, right? Mavericks. He's left those days behind, right? But he's still kind of puckish. You never know if he's going to go wild card. Of course, you got Val Kilmer in there, and Kilmer's the he's the goater. He's poking. He's poking.
I got this.
You got it? Okay.
Yeah. So he's like and he's got his braces and all the he's looking good. Tom's always looking good.
Yeah, he's taking care of himself.
Vice admiral or whatever. And it's like, I gotta go visit the Iceman. It's like, God, you visit him once a year. Well, I do on his birthday. Yeah. So he like kind of goes to the VA home. Or
Anthony Edwards is there? That's Iceman, right?
No. Iceman was
Val Kilmer.
Ooh, I think. I'm pretty sure he was
so.
Iceman,
Maverick. Right? Because Goose was Anthony Edwards. Okay, Goose is, I gotta get my names figured out. Okay, so Iceman's in the VA somewhere.
Goose is the AI that lives in the computer back at the NSA.
What state? Is it East Coast, West Coast, or maybe somewhere tucked away?
California. I think it's Southern Cal.
I was thinking like Denver.
San Diego.
Denver. He's tucked away somewhere. No, San Diego?
It's a Navy.
Oh, yeah, he's by Miramar. He's at the VA by Miramar.
Anyway, so he's going in there to meet the Iceman.
Or is Miramar, Florida?
He's walking down the hall and goes into the room, and there he is, Val Kilmer. He's wearing the hat.
Right.
He's all dressed up like Doc Holliday. It's like, oh, man, I don't know. It's gotten to him. The Iceman is just like, thinks he's Doc Holliday now.
Right. It could happen.
We're really stretching here, man.
It could happen.
Anyway, so, I don't know. I would guess that, I could see maybe Vice Admiral or something, or or whoever, or a captain.
Well, he's
got to be teaching the
Top Gun school, right? See, that's what's going on, right? He's teaching the Top Gun school. There's like the next generation, hey kid, let me tell you something. I see a little bit of myself in you. Yeah. Right, but hey, I now that I'm older and wiser, but I could still be kind of a wild card. Yeah, but I'm gonna help you we need to bring in Val Kilmer. We need to break him out of the old assisted living facility because he's got to come down here and work his magic. Meanwhile, Goose is like off somewhere playing piano. He's doing a piano bar. He died though, right? So you can't bring him back.
That's what you keep saying. Goose, man. Goose didn't make it.
Goose is gone. Yeah, this is Hollywood. God, you could bring anyone back. Alert. He could be like the.
If you haven't seen Top Gun,
he could be like the Emperor holograph.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's like the AI in the targeting computer. Like at the end, as Maverick is leading in his stealth bomber.
Yes, he's spinning out of control. The situation's getting bad. I don't know what I'm going to do.
And then it's like on the wire, the AI to save them. Goose, is that you?
Use the Force, Tom.
Oh, perfect.
You know, like, okay. And then he gets down in that little trench thing and drops his little thing, and Death Star goes kablooey.
Yeah. And it's Goose's voice. It's Goose's voice. Targeting computer.
Right.
Goose, is that you?
Right. It's me from the beyond.
Yeah.
I got killed off in ER2. What?
Yeah, they downloaded his
image,
Grands, whatever.
Right.
But they'll be like they'll be young guys. They'll be like actors with the name of Chris.
Yeah, little millennial a-holes, they're
Chris Pine should be in this.
Oh, he may be a little older now, though.
True.
How about Zac Efron? He's the young cocky dude.
Yeah. We need some Zacs and some Chris's.
Yeah, some Zacs and some Chris's. Maybe
Collins. Who's Collins?
There you go. Yeah.
We just name first names of actors.
Yeah.
Seths. Do we get some
Seths? Really?
Seths, Collins, Zach's, and Chris's.
Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah. My lions and tigers and bears.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
That's what we'll do.
And then why is the wireless all messed up in here? Yeah. So I don't know. So and I'm sure they're gonna, like Top Gun, they'll want to have like the F-35 and all the stealth, the latest, greatest,
Yeah.
But they got to get it working. Get it working.
Right. Tom's like, oh my gosh, there's a crisis that's broken out.
Every new military. Oh, that was the other part of the joke. See, that's the part of the joke that the person who had posted that joke about Top Gun 2 is the thing is as he's sitting there downloading the diagnostics for the fighter jet, a drone is flying by going, that was
don't need it, right?
Yeah. Which is right.
Yeah.
Like our money, okay, yeah, you need fighter jets, I guess, and stuff, and maybe an aircraft carrier or whatever.
Bigger payload, sure.
But the budget, the kind of strategy, where should it all be? Robots and drones.
Yep.
Robots and drones.
Yep.
Go watch the Star Wars prequels.
The Clone Wars.
Lucas knew.
Yeah.
It's all robots and drones.
Yep.
Until you meet the Jedi. Now, we don't have Jedi on Earth, so we're good. We'll just use robots and drones.
Or do we?
Exactly.
No, anyway.
And then if that doesn't work out, what do we do? Clones. Clones, robots, and drones. That's all. Yeah, and that in the Pentagon, deep inside of the Pentagon.
Oh, in the bowels of the Pentagon.
There is one guy.
Yeah.
He's probably not like military. He's probably a contractor, civilian military, right? Probably works for Rand or something.
Yeah, Rand, or he's like some secretive DARPA dude that, they're coming out with. Ooh, yeah.
And his job, like when they walk by, it's like, what does he do? Robots, drones, and clones.
Right.
That's what he does. That's what he's working on.
Right, they're walking by like...
He's writing papers.
Like, shh, don't look him in the eye.
Yeah.
Right, and you're, kind of crab walking to the side because they don't want to,
He's like some millennial-ish dude who just is like...
crazy hair, right? He's got crazy hair because...
It's all about the Star Wars prequels.
Pencil behind an ear or something, Yeah. And his coffee cup, he's got these rings all over his desk because, he's frantically... drinking the coffee and stuff because he's trying to change the world, right? But he's kind of out there, so he's drinking his coffee and he's got his hair and he's trying to. What can I do?
That's right.
It's like Jenkins.
His name is Jenkins.
What's his first name?
Young Jenkins.
No, we can't give him a first name because that's secret. He's a DARPA dude. We don't know his first name.
That's right.
It's just, and in fact, it's Jenkins. We don't even know if Jenkins is his real name. Probably not. It's probably like Finkelstein, but it's Jenkins.
Wow.
What do you think?
I like it. I like it.
I'm more game. I'm more game in the South.
I just imagine this is someone who grew up on the Star Wars prequels and literally has a job in the Pentagon thinking about how can I do those Roger robots and stuff. It's like, and what was it? What was that robotic company that Google bought? I think they sold them off again. That have all those weird military police robots. But here's the thing. Sure, they cost a lot of money. The technology costs money. Very cost effective. Because the one thing is, it's like space, like sending a probe out to space rather than sending people out to space. As soon as you put people in something and go make people go do something dangerous, the whole idea is that the number one thing is they have to survive. Yeah. And so a lot of the technology has to be around the people surviving whatever they're doing. So stick a pilot in a fighter jet.
Right.
It's got to survive.
Got to survive, yeah.
But a drone,
don't have to worry about that.
A robot, you take away that equation entirely. Now, you still want it to protect itself, and you want to get it back, but it's not like losing a life.
Right.
So it's hugely cost-effective in your Defense Department. Mm-hmm. And so it's interesting that we spend like billions and billions and billions in these systems that are human interacted and controlled. And granted, we spend billions on that. But when does a shift happen where, like, a robotic destroyer,
Ooh, I like
and
that.
The thing is you got people like sitting in a dark warehouse in Arizona,
right?
With the, and these are all people who grew up on computer games and stuff, so they're just like all in the virtual reality, going, I'm going to fly over here and shoot that and bomb
Grand Theft Auto. Now it's Grand Theft NATO,
right?
So
I mean, we talk F-35 and all these big weapons systems that are just like,
and the ones you don't know about, the ones that are so secret.
Yeah, I mean, I know that in the whole military technology, you need like a diversity, but man, the robots and the technology and the drones, that's come up a lot. And you have defensive systems where like someone shoots a missile at you or something, you've got to go take it out. Well, you're not going to take that out with a human being.
Send in the clones.
Yeah. So I'm always like kind of amazed. Like, look, this, like, if you actually look at like drones, this is not about the morality of war. This is about the technology of war.
Right.
When you look at that, very successful.
Yeah.
Very, very successful for cost benefit of warring on your war. They're very successful.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. You know what I got going
also
through my
the
mind?
support system behind a drone is a lot less technicians and stuff, right?
Right.
You don't have to worry about the pilot.
You know what I got going through my mind right now? I'm now redoing the lyrics. Instead of "Send in the clowns," it's now "Send in the clones."
I like it.
Yes.
I like it. There's probably
someone's got it.
Yeah.
I'm not reinventing the wheel here, folks.
We started out well, and then we went down the path of military stuff. We got to get out of that. Speaking of dark ops and all that stuff. Speaking of that,
yes,
there was a guy. I was just reading about this guy in the CIA who had been outed just recently, career guy, operations, and he'd been outed, and they were talking about how they his name was top secret, even though everyone knows who he is. But the journalists had a gentleman's agreement to not out them, and then he was outed by an outlet. I think because it kind of popped up in the WikiLeaks thing, but he was a career guy, right? End of his career at the beginning. But they were interesting, like how like these guys, even inside the CIA, it's like my public name is Chris Smith. My real name is this.
Yeah.
Why do I bring this up? I'm making a tangent here. I got a awesome story.
Yeah. Okay.
Buried in all the bad news.
Yes.
We lost.
We need some good news.
It's a good story.
Okay.
Of bad news. We lost Roger Moore.
Yes.
Passed away.
Yeah.
It was yesterday, I think.
Yesterday, yes.
It was 89.
89.
So he had to run.
He did.
And they, his career. So he passed away, and he's, people have said good things about him over the years.
Yes.
And so on Facebook, and I think I saved it. I'm just going to tell the story. I read this. It was a Facebook post. It hit social media. It was about a guy who ended up in kind of film and television. He was a little boy, like 7 years old, and he was sitting in an airport out there somewhere in England with his grandfather. And he saw Roger Moore sitting in the airport. He says this is like kind of like before first class boarding and stuff. And he told his grandfather there's someone really, really famous there. And the grandfather's like, he didn't know who it was, like wasn't a James Bond fan and all that. And so the grandfather said, okay.
What? Is it Winston Churchill?
Yeah. So the grandfather goes over to see if he can get the autograph of the guy. And so the little boy came over and he said, okay, yeah, this is great. And so Roger Moore signed off on his ticket.
Wow.
Give him an autograph. Kid goes back to his seat, thrilled.
Yeah.
Looks at the autograph on the ticket. And it's, best wishes to you, Roger Moore.
Yeah.
And he looks at his grandfather, mortified, and he goes, he didn't sign the right name. I don't know. This isn't the guy. It's the wrong name.
Yeah.
And so the grandfather goes back. And the grandfather, I guess, was not really too down, didn't know much about James Bond.
He wasn't impressed.
So he kind of goes back and mentions it to Roger Moore. And apparently Roger Moore calls the little kid over again. And he leans over and he says, that's my name I have to sign. Let's you and I not tell anyone that I'm James Bond. And the kid just goes, oh my God.
There is a Santa Claus.
So he walks away. And as an adult, this really reflected on his how awesome is Roger Moore, right?
Right.
Years later, he's in film and television, and they're doing a charity because Roger Moore did a lot of charity, which is another thing that they're talking about.
Yeah.
And so he happens to be on a set with Roger Moore doing some PSA stuff there. Yeah. And according to this guy, he's in his 30s. He told Roger Moore that, and he goes, "Well, I don't remember, but that's a great story,
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah, well, it was just wonderful,
Yeah.
And he said later, as we wrapped up, and Roger was walking down. This story. Okay. Backtrack. See, I'm telling a story that I read, which you have to read it to actually do it. What he said in the airport was, let's keep this between us because we don't know who here is working for Blofeld.
That's great.
That's actually what he had said to the kid. So he had mentioned Blofeld, which is why the kid was like, oh.
Yeah.
So as an adult, after they wrap this shoot, the guy says thanks, and Roger walks out the hall, and then he turns around to the guy who's now an adult and says, I didn't want to say anything in there. I remember you. I didn't want to say anything in there because I don't know which one of those photographers is working for Blofeld. And he walks out. And the dude who's now an adult just goes, oh my God.
Oh, he's so cool.
I love this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, can you imagine? What a story.
Yeah. Yeah, and the way
Roger Moore.
The way it goes full circle,
Yeah.
He sees him 30 years later, whatever, right?
It's probably all BS, but
great,
it was a nice
great story though.
Yeah. So I mean, I messed up the Blofeld part, but I mean, it just, if you think about how does a celebrity deal with a little kid?
Yeah,
like that, and you're like, what do you mean? I signed it. I'd be like, sign my name. You out of here, It's but he was very. I think he was very self-aware of his image.
Sure.
As an actor.
Yeah.
And what I've heard and seen in various media is that he was really good with it, good with that self-awareness.
Yeah.
Like he could play on his James Bond persona. In the public if he needed to. He even parodied it in some. There was a couple movies I think where
wasn't it Cannonball Run 2 or something like that, where he kind of.
There's a couple movies and where he kind of John Bondi. or something like that, where he would do that persona. But he was before he did James Bond, probably one of the reasons why he became James Bond. Like Pierce Brosnan, one of the reasons why he became James Bond is he was on television before he got the James Bond gig as the Saint. So kind of a suave young dude, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of what they were always looking for, kind of the suave, maybe the suave. And then before that, he was in a bunch of television. So he had a very big career. James Bond kind of changed everything.
I remember a movie he did just after the James Bond when he was Bond. I'm gonna slaughter this, so bear with me. It's like Folks, FFFOLKS. It was like had like 4 or 5 real big name kind of spy genre people in it.
Oh wow!
And it was sort of kind of something comes up. We need to do something. Let's get all the middle-aged guys who used to do this, used to be on the prime. And then the movie, because I remember at the end, the big scene at the end was they tackle this oil rig or whatever it is. They stealthily climb up it, and they got to do stuff and whack people and diffuse stuff. And it's
this was after James Bond?
I believe so, yeah.
I was just trying to pull it up
it's
here.
Like FFOLKS. It's like Folks.
Cannonball Run. I don't know. Just looking here.
I'm looking at myself.
I mean, he did a bunch of stuff.
Live. As we're going.
Yeah, I'm looking here too. I was gonna say his Ivanhoe. These are TV series he did before James Bond. Ivanhoe, the Alaskans, Maverick. He was in Maverick.
There it is.
The Saint and the Persuaders.
Folks, it's FFOLKES.
Huh.
So I got one. It's a North Sea hijack. It's a hijack movie.
Ooh.
An English admiral, James Mason.
Oh my gosh.
James
Mason
needs an eccentric Lord, Roger Moore.
I need Lord
and his
Sir Roger Moore
and his frogmen to save oil rigs and a ship from a mad bomber who is Anthony Perkins.
Oh my God!
Yes,
it's like everything.
Yes, 1980. It came out.
Oddly,
yeah.
This sounds familiar to me.
Yeah,
it sounds very familiar to me.
I know we can't do it live because the trailer and stuff and
that one's old enough, maybe, but. He passed away in Switzerland, by the way. That's cool. It's not cool. It's just like Switzerland. That's I guess would be a good place to...
Yeah, hey, listen, if you're going to croak.
Sorry.
Doing a pretty country.
That's a really unfortunate choice of words. That's cool.
That's cool.
I'm
well, no, I mean, he lived a very...
peaceful. And,
he lived a very rich life, and from what we know of him, he lived a lot on his own terms. I mean, and
the reason I say the things about is because we talked about James Bond not too long ago.
Yeah.
So this news is always interesting.
Yeah.
When it's talked about on the show, news will happen later in the future. We're like the dead zone of freaking podcasts.
Right.
Anyway.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
read into it what you will, right?
Yeah. It's like anyway, I'm the Christopher Walken of hosts.
Christopher Walken.
I shake Jason's hand, and suddenly I see a vision where Jason is the president of the United States and getting the nuclear football to send the missiles. Hallelujah!
Yeah, no one would want me as the president because. No. President's got to be on. I mean, they're the guys that get up at like dark 30 and stuff. No, I'm not. I'm not waking up until
You ever seen The Dead Zone? I would say if you like Christopher Walken, it's right up there with one of his best films. Fine film. And I for some reason it popped up
a long time ago.
It's Stephen King.
Yeah.
For some reason it popped up. It is a fantastic movie. Actually, it popped up because if you Google it now. they're talking about 2017, what's going on in politics and the president and things, and that movie, which is not a good thing. But it's Walken earlier in his career, and he's just fantastic. He's such a good movie.
Yeah,
he made a string of movies in that time period that are like some of all of my favorite Christopher Walken movies.
Yep. You know what my favorite is?
Which one?
The Prophecy.
Yes.
He plays Gabriel.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one. I like him a little bit better in more subtle, weirder roles than more out there. Like there's a movie where he plays a drug kingpin with Lawrence Fishburne. That one. He's really super evil. He's evil Walken.
Yeah.
But I like him when he's like a scientist, like Brainstorm, an alien abductee.
The more eccentric, the better, right?
And Communion.
Gotcha.
A guy who's having ESP things, the Dead Zone.
Telekinetic.
A Vietnam War vet, the Deer Hunter. Ooh. I kind of I like my young Walken, and also a Sicilian gangster in the Quentin Tarantino written movie, the one with Christian Slater and Dennis Hopper. That one, True Romance.
There you go. I think
right, True Romance.
I believe so.
That's a good one. But anyway, I was looking up the Dead Zone, and it's a David Cronenberg movie too. So it's like, no wonder. It's really good. But and it has Martin Sheen in it as a senatorial candidate.
Okay.
Mr. Creepy, playing his creepy.
Right.
Not West Wing Martin Sheen. This is creepy Martin Sheen. This is
Apocalypse
now Martin Sheen. Like, and now he's running in the Midwest as a senator. It's like, don't vote for him.
Right.
There's some bad demons going on with that boy. But anyway, Martin Sheen used to be. I mean, he used to play really good creepy characters.
Yes.
Apocalypse Now.
Right. Yeah.
You know? But anyway, so I was reading all this James Bond stuff in these books as doing the James Bond thing. And one thing in these books and what I was reading about the production is all these cool things that Roger Moore would do as the star of the movie for people on the set, and how everyone was like, oh, we love working with Roger. He's so cool and so nice. And I remember one thing is that I believe it was his son, had just come up out of school and all that. Mm-hmm. And his son, I think, was into effects and set design and assistant directing and all that.
Wow, that's cool.
And so they hired his son.
Yeah.
So his son worked on a bunch of James Bond films over the years. I think even after Roger was out as Bond. Cool. So
very cool.
Did we say this before? Who's your favorite James Bond?
Oh, me? It's Connery.
Connery?
Yeah.
Okay.
My favorite movie, From Russia with Love.
Yeah. We kind of hit a thing on that. But Roger Moore is fantastic.
He's second place.
So for me, with the James Bonds,
Craig's pretty good too.
We're talking about the longest.
George Lazenby.
Yeah, we're talking about the longest running successful movie series of all time.
Yeah.
Like you think Star Wars or whatever. No. It's James Bond. Yeah. It's the longest running.
62. Yeah, something 62. Like that. Yeah.
I think it's Dr. No.
Yeah.
And so it's the longest running, most successful, brought in, Doc Hazel was talking some numbers on Monday for like Star Wars and that. I don't even know what the numbers in its entirety.
Yeah.
The billions of dollars that James Bond
generated over the years.
Now you can go, and if you're like a super fan, like I am, you can go and buy the whole Blu-ray library.
Yeah.
And that's that'll set you back a penny or two.
Right, but there's even millennials. If you said the word 007, they know exactly what you're talking about. It's, super spy, secret spy. They may not say, James Bond. Well, they might say James Bond, but.
So there was a thing that defined your generation by who Bond was and what your first Bond movie was. And I know we talked about this, actually. And, of course, the passing of Roger Moore we had talked about this previously on another show. I think we can also, not on another show, on this.
Yeah.
I think we can redo it because not everyone listens to our stuff.
What?
All the time.
That's...
Or anytime. But,
okay.
And for me, it was The Spy Who Loved Me.
Spy Who Loved Me.
It was my first theater experience of James Bond. Before that, it was TV. They would come on, the Connerys would come on TV.
Yeah.
But it was
I think mine was like for your eyes only.
Yeah.
Or maybe it was Moonraker.
Moonraker, maybe. Yeah. That came after Spy Who Loved Me.
Yeah.
But it was, for me, it was Spy. That was my first James Bond film, and that was
Simon.
Roger Moore. And honestly, I've read recently this, and I went back and did the marathon over the holidays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I watched The Spy Who Loved Me, it was like, that is a wildly entertaining James Bond. And he's very good in it, you know?
Yeah.
And now you go on the internet and you go this reassessment, and people are like, oh, no. This was some good, entertaining stuff. Even Moonraker, which I thought was really, my recollection was, what a really silly movie.
Yeah.
Boy, it's an entertaining film. It's worth
It's when they try to go a little sci-fi a little bit.
But it's still...
Yeah.
It has these elements in it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's like... in the case of James Bond being a series, sometimes it's like, yeah, don't worry so much about the story. Don't, you know...
Yeah.
Of course, I was just talking about Christopher Walken.
Mm-hmm.
Christopher Walken was the heavy in... it's the one with Grace Jones.
Oh.
View to a Kill.
Yeah.
Was that the one with Duran Duran singing it?
Yep.
And Grace Jones and Christopher Walken, and I believe that's, if I remember, yes, that's the one with Patrick McNee. Steed from the Avengers comes in from the other Emma, because he's a equestrian dude.
That's right.
And so you got Roger Moore
yeah.
and Patrick McNee playing together, and that is just some awesome stuff.
Right? Yeah.
And it's crazy too.
All they needed was Emma Peel.
Grace Jones is awesome in that movie.
Yeah.
Grace Jones like steals the movie, you know, because if you're gonna have Grace Jones in a movie, I mean, like
that's what she
from
does.
The 80s, from like Grace Jones, like, you know, Ground Zero Grace Jones, you know, her, you know, Demolition Man, you know, videos and stuff, right? Yeah, she's awesome. But that was like really good, like just the Patrick, the whole, you know, and you're just like going, dude. James, don't you know you're working with John Steed from the Avengers? You know?
Right,
and they kind of don't, but they kind of like try to, you know.
Yeah. Awesome,
Sir Eaton Hogg. You're working with Sir Eaton Hogg. Yeah. He's funding the Spinal Tap albums.
Right.
We're going to tap into America.
That's right.
I love Patrick McGee. Anyway, so Roger Moore, and so what I was going to say about, maybe I've already said this, and I'm going to drop it, but
yeah,
in a series that's that long and spanning that much time, not only is your generation defined of who's your Bond, but it's also like Doctor Who, like who's your Doctor Who, right? It's also because you have different people in different times. It's apples and oranges to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's the same character, but it's not like you know. So Roger Moore brings a whole different take on James Bond than Connery did.
Right.
And I believe that Cubby Broccoli, one of the main, you know, producers behind the entire series, the family, too. I believe he said that Roger was his favorite. That that Roger Moore was his image of James Bond. That sort of suaveness. And the other thing is, he was more quippy. Like, so he was a little more like sarcastic and kind of right. Roger was known as the guy who would like always have something to say before he killed a bad guy. Or
Very
whatever.
true. Yeah, because
Connery did too, but less.
He was more stoic, right?
Yeah,
and very secretive, stoic. But Roger was more gregarious and sort of. Yeah. Agreed.
I think the thing with those early Connery ones that we like is because when he does have a quip in his movies, it's few and far between in a Connery movie. Yeah. So it hits really hard. Like that's a Smith & Wesson, and you've had your 6, right? And you're like, oh my gosh, or the one where it's like he's dancing in the Caribbean, and he turns the lady around, and the assassin shoots her in the back. She's a bad lady,
right?
And then he sets her down at the table with the couple and goes, she's just dead tired,
right?
Walks away,
right?
And Connery's quips are pretty evil. They're pretty quippy in the face of death.
Dark humor.
They're very dark humor.
But and plus Connery was just so smooth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even though he had that kind of stoic quality to him, he was just so. I mean, he was. Cool.
But I think what Roger Moore brought to that was less the dark humor, more the quippy. Oh, especially Roger Moore had a lot of quippiness when he was with a lady friend in a lady friend situation, if you recall, right?
Yeah, yes. And also Roger Moore, he was he knew. I mean,
I'm keeping up the British end.
Right.
Literally, that was in the cut reel that I had retweeted from The Guardian or one of them that had a hot cut reel of Roger Moore's career. It was like his early career, and then a whole bunch of cuts of him throughout the years of James Bond. And that was one at the end of, I think it's A Spy Who Loved Me, one of those. Yeah. As he's like in the raft with the lady, they're like, M is Bond, what are you doing in there? Why?
Yeah.
Is M or the
Q or whatever
admirals or Q or any of them always show up at the end, and Bond is in a lady friend situation, and their first reaction is like, Bond, what are you doing in there? It's like, what do you think he's doing in there?
Right.
Last time you knew what he was doing in there.
Yeah.
Did you see the long did you
right? Did
you see the hair? Did you see that he's there with someone?
But we need the shocked indignation at the end.
It's
what?
At the
Bond.
End. It's almost like at the end of every one of those classic Roger Moore movies. They show up and it's like, Bond, what are you doing in there? And then it's like drum roll as he pulls himself up. This is just like all this brunette hair next to him. It's like, here's my quip.
Yeah.
About something lightly sexual,
Right, and then the screen goes dark.
Exactly. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Anyway. But no, Roger, man, I mean, rewatching all of his stuff, it's like, you're like, what it was is he was really entertaining Bond. Yeah. That's why you would go to the theater, and that's why those movies were successful.
Right. But it was almost like he was self-conscious of the fact that James Bond is he is the man, he's the famous guy. He's just
you're playing Superman.
Exactly.
You're Nicholson so famously said when he played the Joker in the Tim Burton Batman, right? Mm-hmm. And he said something to the effect that once you get the makeup on and the outfit, you're playing the outfit, you're playing the costume. That's now who you are. Right. And granted, Roger Moore's not in the. There's no makeup. I mean, there's.
But when you put the tux on and stuff,
exactly,
you are the you are 007.
You walk on the set and you're 007. But it was like I think the thing with the Connery versus the Roger Moore is there was more, like you said, self-awareness in the material. Yeah. That I'm James Bond. Of course we're going to do this. I'm James Bond, Yeah. But then as he got older, and he really played James Bond out late, there was a point where toward the end, View to a Kill and stuff, you were like, you were kind of like, we love James Bond, but, at some point... Yeah. James Bond's kind of the back's going to go out.
He's in his 50s, right? Yeah,
I mean, it was does he slow? Yeah. Well, you were waiting for those last Roger Moores when the lady comes at the end. Oh, James, and it's like, I think there's a big match on the game. I think I'm just going to have a pint.
A pint.
But James.
Waste a wee pint.
Yeah. But, older man now, just, I don't know. Gonna go down to the pub and play some skeet scooter. What is that? Billiards with the
snooker.
Snooker. Thank you. Snooker with the blokes.
Yeah,
I'll be back later.
It's the Fonzie paradox,
James, dude. Yeah. So yeah, exactly. And even for him, I think he was saying at the end, he was like, "This is the Fonzie paradox." I mean, he was like, even it was like, I gotta get out of this. You know, we need to pass the torch.
No one wants to see mom and dad necking.
Well, and then toward those last movie or something that he did, they really were starting to play on that.
Never Say Never Again or something like that.
Well, that was Connery. Yeah. And the interesting thing there is that was the whole lawsuit between Thunderball, and so they had the rights to make basically remake Thunderball.
Yeah.
So the writer had won the rights from Ian Fleming and the director on that. So they funded that at a different studio, and they did employ Connery to do that, and that was at the same time as, I don't think it was A View to a Kill, maybe Octopussy, one of those. Excuse me. But there were 2 James Bond movies filming simultaneously in England, one with Roger Moore on the official track and the unofficial Connery, Never Say Never Again.
Gotcha.
And I like Never Say Never Again. Like with my Star Trek, I'm a Bond ethical. I like my James Bond.
Gotcha.
If you say it's James Bond,
sure,
I'll watch it.
There you go.
Interestingly enough about Roger Moore, there's just a little trivia thing. I ran across a video on YouTube, and it is a black and white video from a British comedy variety show. I believe the host was a woman. I think it was kind of like a Carol Burnett kind of thing in the 60s, I think. Yeah. But it was a variety comedy show, and Roger Moore was the guest. He was, television guy, so like, hey, we'll have Roger Moore come on as a guest in our variety comedy show.
Yeah.
And he does a whole cafe scene, and he plays James Bond.
Ooh.
And this was before he became James Bond.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, there's a little foreshadowing.
And there's little bits. You actually find little bits of pieces of that.
Yeah.
Do you know who the first actor who played James Bond was on any media?
What, is it Casino Royale?
Nope.
No?
Well, yes. Actually, it was. Yes. I want to... now, I got to look up...
Peter Sellers, isn't it?
No. Is it Gary Cooper? So there was a television show in America.
Yeah.
Like a Playhouse TV show. One of those like we're going to take something and we're going to do a live show. We're talking like early 60s, black and white, And they had taken Casino Royale, wrote it up as a half hour, 40-minute something teleplay. From Ian Fleming, and it was Ian Fleming's James Bond Casino Royale.
Yeah,
and it mostly takes place in a casino. It's on a sound stage. Remember when they do television shows like Playhouse 90?
Yeah,
right, that sort of thing. Like back in the early days of television. Anyone who's young is like, "What are they talking about now?" Just Google YouTube. You can check it out. You might like it. It's interesting.
Yeah,
Google Sid Caesar.
Right. Ooh. Yeah.
Anyway, your shows. But anyway, so. It was one of those.
Yeah.
It was a live teleplay. And these things were often shot live. Like, it was like being on a stage with a script.
Yeah.
So they learned their lines, and it was like live television cameras on the stage. And I think, I'm trying to remember who the actor was. I got to look it up so I can tell you. But I have, I found this. 1954, here it is. The 1954 adaptation of Ian Fleming's novel Casino Royale on the television anthology series Climax, with an asterisk preceding Sean Connery's interpretation of Dr. No, Barry Nelson.
Barry Nelson?
Yep, here he is right here.
Wow.
Barry Nelson, American actor. I'll just pull that up for you. Look, I'll do this.
Gotcha.
I'll do that, and then I'll do this. This guy. Remember this guy right here from television?
Gotcha.
Barry Nelson.
Huh.
So they pulled it up here. It's in the Thin Man. I'll put it back here. 1950. He was the first actor. Barry Nelson was the first actor in history to play James Bond on screen in a 1954 adaptation of Ian Fleming's novel Casino Royale on the television anthology series Climax, with an exclamation point preceding Sean Connery's interpretation in Dr. No by 8 years.
Yeah.
Reportedly, this was considered a pilot for a possible James Bond television series, though it is not known if Nelson intended to continue playing the character. Nelson played James Bond as an American. Here's where it gets weird for your James Bond.
Okay.
Nelson played James Bond as an American agent.
Wow.
Who summoned the program called Jimmy. So Jimmy Bond.
Jimmy Bond.
In 2004, Nelson at that time no one had ever heard of James Bond. I was scratching my head wondering how to play it. I hadn't read the book or anything like that because it wasn't well known. And this is an interesting trivia, Bond did not become well known in the U.S. until President John F. Kennedy listed From Russia with Love among his 10 favorite books in the 17th of March 1961 Life magazine. We never talked about that before, but that actually, I knew that bit of trivia that there was an explosion of Ian Fleming reading when Kennedy, the new president, said that From Russia with Love was one of his favorite books on the nightstand.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that was really the explosion. But yeah, he played Jimmy Bond.
Yeah.
And I've watched it. I think I have a copy of it. It would floating around in circles, and it's just weird because he goes in the casino, and it's Barry Nelson. You've seen him in television and stuff. He's one of the old slick back actors, and he's suave, but he's American. It's like, hey, Jimmy Bond, and Felix Leiter, the CIA agent, American CIA agent. Guess what? British.
Right. Yeah.
He's the British agent. So when he meets Felix is from.
Tables are turned.
Exactly. So James Bond almost became an American TV series.
Wow, that is interesting. So, hey, when you were reading that, go back to just the little square in the bottom there.
Oh,
watch this. When you were reading that, you had it on me, and I went like this, very very subtle. I went like that.
Oh, nice. I wonder what you were doing.
Yeah,
I thought you were signaling like we got to get out of here.
Well, no, I was patting it on top of the head. There you go. That's a nice NuzBox. Sorry.
So yeah, and we actually do have to go. There was some news breaking. So
is there really?
Yes, in sports, the Celtics and the Cavs are duking it out. What happened in the Western Conference? Well, you know what happened in the Western Conference.
Right.
Were they undefeated?
Undefeated. Swept.
Is that the first time?
No, I think they did last year, too. I think they swept everyone last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think they made history last year. They swept in the playoffs.
I didn't realize that they had swept everyone last year, too.
Swept everyone, yeah.
Holy smokes.
Golden State. They could be doing it again.
Yeah.
How'd you like to win back-to-back on that?
So Boston and Cavs are duking it out. The one thing I was looking up here, here's the thing. We were talking, I had mentioned sports, and I was going to talk more sports.
Yeah, we'll do it on Friday.
There's a big match today, which is that Europa Cup, which can put Manchester United into the Champions League. So that's going to be a big game that's coming up. I'm not sure where it's being played. Mm-hmm. I would assume, considering that the UK, Theresa May came out last night. Our day today, which time difference. And put the smackdown on the security level right now, which they haven't done in several years. I imagine there'll be a lot of high security around that match today. I don't know where it's being played or whatever, and of course it's a Manchester team.
Right.
Oh man, I tell you. So, but I'm gonna be dialing that one up because that's gonna be a big game. If they, how can you, here I am going. It's gonna be a big game for Manchester, and then we had this terrible thing. That is not the soccer stadium, by the way. So
gotcha.
That was the first thing I thought was,
Yeah.
But and I don't know. There's I don't know what else to say about that, but so that's some sports things.
There you go. All right, well, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, there's Trump news. Did you? The one thing I did look at is the big news that was coming out last night.
Yeah.
Is the Vatican?
Yes.
The Pope?
Yes.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
So many things.
I know.
What I read is that they exchanged gifts.
Mm-hmm.
And what did the Pope give him? Was it a book or something? I know what Trump gave.
Yeah, I think it was some sort of book or something like that. Yeah.
And of course, the Pope and Trump.
What did Trump give him? A picture of himself?
No, Trump gave him some books of Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah.
And what was reported in the news is he gave it to the Pope and he said, "I think you might like these." That's what was reported. But yeah. Well, I mean, famously, this Pope and this president have had not words back and forth, but words in the press. And I have to say, if you read the quote of what Trump has said about this Pope, it's none too nice. But apparently they played nice in the Vatican, as I would expect. Yeah,
you think that there's a certain amount of diplomacy, very sort of... But I can't imagine it was a real warm, because,
the only thing that...
Trump just doesn't inspire warmness.
So the only thing that I kind of was trying to figure out what was going... Oh, see, I haven't seen this picture. Oh, my word. I haven't seen this picture. But, and I don't normally do this.
Yeah.
But when you see pictures of... And there's been a lot of photo ops and things, and when you see pictures of what's going on... I was like, what is the First Lady wearing at the Vatican? I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it was in reference, but here's a photograph of the Pope and Trump, the president, and the First Lady, and she's wearing a black veil and a black dress. And there's Ivanka doing the same thing, black veil and dress. I didn't see the one with Ivanka, but... The Pope doesn't have a good look on his face, but
no. Look at the distance that separates him and Trump.
Yeah,
there's that little space there where
Which, oddly enough, is he's it's not the same distance that separates him and the First Lady.
Right. Ding, 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 ding. Especially when they're getting off the plane, he tries to hold her hand and she brushes it away.
Brother, folks. Anyway,
yes.
Well, on that note, anything else you're looking at or tracking?
No, I'm gonna see how it shakes out for Friday because it's been a very. The funny thing is, it's hard to track, especially in the last couple of weeks, because everything literally has been so fluid, almost by the hour. Yeah. And so it's
bad when it's like bad.
Right.
I mean, what we've
also message before we leave. No turning left today. I have some appointments. I can't do it.
Oh.
We'll be back next week. It's going to be another fast and loose show because stuff is changing by the day and by the hour, and I want to keep it as fresh as I can.
I know. I was all kind of looking for it.
We do have a brand new. I will throw a little teaser out there. Throw a little teaser out there. We do have a brand spanking new turning left poll.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
Sent the minions out on the street.
Awesome.
To cull all the stuff.
Is that like a video or something too?
No.
Oh no.
So
audio?
It's just a list.
Oh, okay.
We'll read it like the 10-10. Yeah. This is new turn.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I won't give it. I won't give away what the subject is, but it's very it's entertaining.
Good. That's good. Yeah. Look, I was thinking, wow, because last week we couldn't do it because we were shut down here, and I was like. Kind of looking forward, but maybe wait another week for things to shake out. Considering,
everything's been going by the hour, and so next week is gonna be hot and fast.
I guess the homework for anybody out there, Google Frank Zappa, and watch some of his interviews, especially some of his political interviews. Just kind of reflect, and what I was kind of alluding to is listen to music.
Mm-hmm.
Look at art.
Mm-hmm.
Support artists and musicians and playwrights and anyone
poets, all that
else,
stuff. Yeah.
Anyone else that is doing so. Comedians.
Yeah.
Support comedians.
There you go.
They make you laugh.
Yep.
Do good things, positive things right now. Focus. I know it's hard, but pull up your favorite. Go get that Yes album that you like so much and go listen to it. Something like that. Anything that you like. It's like, I like this. And sometimes in times like these, it's hard to do that.
But you gotta. That's when you need it most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really do.
I agree.
Boy, do we need it
right
now? So anyway, so we'll be back on Friday. Let's.
Oh yeah. We'll have the intern here too.
Yeah, we'll have Big Sports News. Let's stay safe out there.
Oh, Jay-Z.
Listen to your favorite music.
That's right.
And whatnot. And
yes,
we'll be back.
Live long and prosper.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Live long.
Can you do the inverted?
What? No, what?
Yeah.
Oh, we have to. Oh man. We have to talk about that on Friday. What are you doing to me, man?
I could even show you some. My thumbs are double jointed.
I'll show you some stuff on my hand.
Right, we'll do that on Friday. The double jointed. Yeah,
all right.
I got monkey hands.
Stay safe, everybody. Say goodbye.
Wiedersehen.
Arrivederci.
Arrivederci.
That's life.